Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Cardinals up 3-0 right now, bottom of the seventh, as they look to sweep the struggling Pittsburgh Pirates. We will have Brad Thompson on at some point today. We'll talk plenty of Cardinals, get into some Blues, and also chat with Anthony Becht, the Battlehawks head coach, following last week's victory. The Battlehawks have now won a couple in a row with Max Dugan.
Hey, great day from Sonny Gray. Got my baseball in my hand right now.
Oh, nice.
It's a great day to be a Cardinal fan.
Are you one of those people that have the baseball ready to go at all points?
Absolutely. I'm ready to turn two.
He got text.
Did you get the text last night?
Oh, stop. Don't be putting that out there.
He did. I mean, there's only one
out there.
I mean, he's got a ball in his hand, Anthony.
Yeah,
he wore the glasses last week. Or was it this week?
No, this
was
week.
yesterday.
Yeah. Was it yesterday? No, Monday.
Maybe it was Monday.
Yeah, he's all in. It's obvious. He got a text. You know, Blue season didn't end the way that he wanted it to. This young man is ready to roll. He's all in on your cards.
Oh. Do you think the Cardinals are toxic, though, knowing that the city of St. Louis is hurting right now, that I'm hurting because the Blues lost, and they immediately shot me a text message, are you up?
With a capital T, toxic. Yes. They knew. You were hurt, you were down, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they were going to send you a text.
I'm just now realizing this.
All they needed was a couple of wins, a couple of dubs. They got those on Sunday. You experienced heartbreak because of your Blues. And then all of a sudden, you start getting those texts again. Those late night texts.
Yeah.
You up?
Marshy said, yeah. Who this?
Well, it wasn't really even like a text because I blocked them for so long because they've been rude to me for 2 years.
It's
just more of like a DM, you know? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a, hey, how you been?
Hey, with like a couple of Y's. Hey. All right, so the Cardinals beat the Pirates last night 2-1. Heck, maybe we can have 2 exit surveys, huh? Because we got the game going on today. But your biggest or best storyline from the game last night?
Oh, Marshy's guy, the St. Louis Star. That's his guy. He broke it open. You know, the other thing is, I think Paul Skenes has maybe 5 losses in his entire career, and 4 of them are to the Cardinals. For whatever reason, his teammates don't want to hit when he's pitching against the Cardinals. They're just like, we'll take this one off.
They don't like
you can throw a no-hitter. You know, you still got to score runs for him to actually win the game. I don't know if they figured that part out yet. He's losing 2-1 or 1-0. Like, it's not that they're putting
the old Jacob deGrom, we call that.
It's not that they're putting up a lot of runs against him, but they are beating him, which is pretty damn good. And Alec Burleson hits the hell out of him. He sees him really well. He brought in 2 with the double last night. And I know I'm going on. I got a few things that I like. I love Victor Scott, man.
All right, so your best storyline was Burleson. All right, mine was Liberatore. I mean, dominant performance. I think he stands out as the best storyline. Pitched a season-high 7 innings, allowed just 1 run, struck out 8, showed command, showed poise. His bounce back from early pressure. He retired 17 of 19 batters at one point. I thought he was the backbone of last night's win. Paul Skenes pitched incredibly well, but the Cardinals were able to get to him and win that game because Matthew Liberatore was even better than Skenes. So to me, Liberatore, his performance, that was, I thought, the best storyline and the biggest storyline coming out of last night's game.
Yeah, I think the top 2 are the ones that you 2 mentioned. I'll kind of piggyback off of that with the pitching. I thought the bullpen did great. Steven Matz comes in, 1 inning, does really well. Gordon Graceffo, same thing.
Yeah.
But from the offensive perspective, you know, the bats weren't there all night, right? But the Cardinals, when they needed a run or 2, they had timely hitting. That's something that we really haven't seen a lot in these last 2 seasons, that timely hitting with runners in scoring position. And yesterday, we ended up getting that with Alec Burleson, who, like you said, Carey, seems to have Paul Skenes' number. So it worked out perfectly for the Cardinals. He got up to, you know, a high pitch count, and the Cardinals took advantage of it. It was a great win for the Cards last night.
No doubt. My biggest kudos goes out to Alec Burleson, the guy that you've mentioned. Clutch, 2 out, 2-run double in the 6th inning, flipped the game, provided a decision there for Matthew Liberatore. He's got more hits off Paul Skenes than any other major leaguer.
Yeah.
6 for 15 emphasizes his value, and the way that he's hitting now emphasizes his valuable bat in this lineup, because Alec Burleson has really turned it on of late.
Yeah.
So that's my kudos.
My kudos is to I'm gonna upset some people with these next two. I don't give a damn. I'm here to stir it up.
I like it.
I'm not well rested. I'm a little ornery, a little angry today.
What happened last night?
I don't know, man.
Just couldn't sleep?
Steph Curry got hurt. They won, but he's out for at least a week.
So you're up late watching the Warriors.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a little tired, but no, kudos to Oliver Marmol.
Okay.
Got the young guy closing out the game for Cepho. You got Victor Scott, who they finally decided at the beginning of the year, we're going to let him play. You did the right thing. That guy is fast. He scores from anywhere. He's like the Steph Curry of baseball.
I see.
Scores from anywhere.
A good transition.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anywhere on the bases, he's going to score. Just give him a chance. Mm-hmm. Kudos to the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol. Tip of the cap, sir.
It's kind of dripping in some sarcasm to some degree, or maybe some passive aggressiveness.
It's going to get worse.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to it. Good. Marsh, did you already hand out your kudos?
No, I did not, but I'm also going with Ollie Marmol for a different reason. When I was watching that game last night, I know Liberatore was dealing, but his pitch count was pretty high. Like, I think it was in the 80s at this point when this thought came to my mind. I was like, he's pitching really well. I'm shocked to a degree that they didn't take him out, because we've seen that happen before. But I was like, kudos to Ollie Marmol for seeing that this guy is absolutely dealing right now. You got to keep that guy in, even though the Cardinals were down by 1 at that point.
Yeah, this brings me back to what Dave Duncan always preached, was that it's not about pitch count, it's about whether or not they're pitching in stressful innings. You could have a low-ish pitch count, but if you're constantly in the stretch, you're constantly having to work in and out of jams. Those are stressful situations. So I think you're more apt to go out and get a pitcher, regardless of where his pitch count is. If he's stressful inning after stressful inning after stressful inning. Matthew Liberatore was pretty much cruising. Again, he retired 17 of 19 at one point. There was no reason. Forget the pitch count. He was under 100, I think, when he came out. Eventually came out, and he was highly effective. So no need to replace him. I'm glad that Ollie didn't. All right, biggest criticism? I don't really have one for the Cardinals. I mean, the biggest criticism in the game to me would be, the Pirates' lack of run support for Paul Skenes, but obviously I don't care about that. So.
No, it's got to be the umpiring crew again. They missed another call yesterday.
Are you talking about the O'Neal Cruz one?
Yes, he was out.
He did look out, but was it completely conclusive?
I thought it was. Granted, I'm a little biased, but it looked like his index finger was pointed up, and he was tagged right before he made it to the base.
I agree. I think he was out, but I wasn't.
That's the only reason they scored.
True, but I wasn't up in arms over it.
I was after the fact when they gave up the run. I go, if you get that call correct, Cardinals are out of the inning. This is a non-issue. Sure. Pirates are not leading.
Fair. Criticism for you? Biggest criticism?
My biggest criticism is to you fans. You all were on Pop Warner's bumper. Oh, what are you doing? You're sending runners home. He's doing his damn job. That's what he's doing. Send Victor Scott home. You were mad at him when he sent Michael Ciani home a few weeks ago, a month ago. What is he doing? He's going to ruin. That's not what's going to ruin the season, man. You got to be aggressive. You got to play hard. You got to play a hard 9, Anthony. And that's what the hell Pop Warner do. So my biggest criticism is for all the fans out there that were jumping on Pop Warner. He's a great guy.
Warner, he may be a great guy. He threw out somebody a couple of Friday nights ago. I was there. I saw it.
Did you see what he did last night?
He's just a guy home that was going to make it home.
He sent the fastest runner home?
As he should. Send him.
Okay.
Did it again today. Send him. First to home. Send him. His damn arm. You got to get some ice on that damn arm, Pop. Keep it up.
And who was it today that also scored? The fastest human in baseball.
Don't worry about that.
All right, no.
The Steph Curry.
The Steph Curry in baseball.
Score from anywhere.
You're right. It got worse. How about you, Marsh? You already had the umpire thing. All right. What question are you left with following the game? It's somewhat, I don't know if it's ironic, but similar to yesterday. Is Gordon Crescefo kind of carving out a bigger role in this bullpen. Last night, I think it was UCD who mentioned, probably not going to have Ryan Helsley. You're not going to have, Phil Maton. You're not going to have your top guys last night. And he didn't.
Yeah.
So Liberatore pitches deep in the game. Steven Matz gets you through the 8th.
Yep.
And Graceffo steps in and gets you a big save in the 9th in a 2-1 game. So my question is, can Graceffo earn one of those big spots? He's already doing it, but can he continue to have success? That's my question.
That's mine. My question is that as well. What are you going to do with the bullpen and with the younger pitchers? McGreevy did a great job a couple of nights ago. Graceffo obviously finished the game last night. What is his role? Can you find a role for him? I don't give it. You're not. With all due respect, you say that whatever you say after that.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
With all due respect, you're not good enough to not play your best players.
Very true. Or give, and you know what? You're not going to
give opportunities to guys that aren't better than the guys that are good.
Right.
So why wouldn't you give this man an opportunity to do what he did last night? Mm-hmm. More. Yep. Give him a chance. You need to fix the bullpen. That's one of the issues you've had. If you can fix that, maybe you can have some opportunities to win more games.
Marsh?
My biggest question. Yesterday was the consistency. Tough to go with that one today just because we're watching it unfold right now. But I guess I am going to stick with it. This is the question for me. Can this team keep this up? They just played the Pirates. We know what they did last time. They swept a series. They beat the Twins, and then all of a sudden they unraveled. We still have a little bit more time left in this game. Anything can happen, but let's just say they come home with the victory. Can they keep this up against another team that is kind of in the same breath as them in Washington? Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see what that looks like against the Nationals because that's another team that is full of young talent that is starting to make strides within their organization. So I kind of want to see where they stack up against a team like that.
Fair. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Again, we'll talk to Brad Thompson a little bit later on in the show. But let's continue to talk about these Cardinals here. Small victories we're starting to see pile up for certain players. Will that lead to ultimate success for the team? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Well, the Cardinals defeated Paul Skenes last night, thanks in large part to Matthew Liberatore's stellar performance. Alec Burleson also gave the Cardinals a late lead with his big hit in the sixth inning. And it all leads to what we hope are big victories for the team. So small player success leading to big team success. Carey, you played in the NFL. You played in a professional level. I don't care really what walk of life we're talking about or what sport we're discussing. For young players or ones that are trying to prove themselves, I think any amount of success could lead to big success for the team. It's just about building that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're putting together a team, constructing the team, and you have free agents, you have draft picks, you have the way that you go about, trying to put this team together. You got to hit on your draft picks. You got to hit on your trades. You got to hit on the free agents that you bring in. And when you get all of those things going at the same time, and then the younger players, whether they were drafted there, whether they were traded for, when those guys have success, it just lengthens the amount of time that your team can be in that championship window or get to that champion, how quickly you can get back to that championship window. If your younger players are struggling and you're relying solely on older players to kind of carry the load and at some point they're going to be done. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be there forever. So you need that youth, that infusion of youth to come in and kind of roll the roster over, reset things, and start having those star players eventually take the place of the older star players. So I think what the Cardinals are doing with this youth movement that they've spoken about, I think they've done a pretty good job so far this year. Again, the bullpen has been the one inconsistent thing that they've had, and I think they started to make some decisions. They let go. They let Roycroft go. They go to the minors. They let Fernandez go back to the minors. They said, okay, these are two players that aren't fitting the mold of what we need right now, so let's get some players in here that can help and not lose us these games so we can get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning because we know we got three guys right there that we trust a lot.
I also think it's about opportunity, really. Matthew Liberatore has been given an opportunity to stay in the starting rotation after he earned it in spring training. And I don't want to minimize that the last part there. He earned the opportunity. The Cardinals rolled the dice, kept him in the starting rotation after that good spring training because they could have just said, you know what, we don't really see you as a starter, but you're going to be one of those multi-inning relievers for us again this season like he was for most of last year. But they gave him an opportunity, and now he is shined. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the big thing. Joey Bart is playing right now for the Pirates. I think he's their cleanup hitter. Joey Bart was supposed to be the heir apparent to Buster Posey. He was drafted, I think, number 2 overall. He was supposed to be the guy, and he just it was kind of similar to what we're seeing right now with Jordan Walker. It just wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. He'd get a cup of coffee, then he'd get back down to the minors. When he did come up, he struggled, and they just kind of gave up on him. And now, because he's with the Pirates, and the Pirates, they
have any expectations.
They have no expectations. Mm-hmm. He has kind of turned into a decent big leaguer. Mm-hmm. And now, is he hitting cleanup for anybody else? Absolutely not. But sometimes, again, it's just about having the room to fail when the expectations aren't, you need to produce immediately.
Another name that comes to mind is Lane Thomas, right? He goes to Washington. They had no expectations.
No.
All of a sudden, he finds himself in a key position with a different team in the postseason last year.
Yes.
And comes up big. I think this season, I think some fans have like the expectations of, okay, this team's going to stink. Some fans really want them to win despite them not doing anything in the offseason. I think a moment like last night for Matthew Liberatore, I think it builds confidence. We talk about confidence all the time. Dude, you just outpitched Paul Skenes. Mm-hmm. That guy is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball and started the All-Star game last year for the National League. Like, he is that guy, and you just outpitched him. Alec Burleson, you have his number. You came up clutch in a huge moment against one of the best pitchers in baseball. Mm-hmm. I think those things ultimately will get this team where they need to go. It might not look great record-wise for 2025, but I think those small moments will eventually build and build and build until they do become a better team, and they're prepared for moments like that.
I also think what we're seeing with Matthew Liberatore is legit.
Yeah, I do too.
He's turning heads in April. like, oh man, this looks pretty good. But his last two starts, the Friday night game against the Brewers, and then last night opposing Skenes. So yeah, he's not facing Skenes, obviously he's facing the Pirates, but you can't tell me that these starting pitchers don't know who the hell's on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're going on the bump, you may not get a ton of run support. You got to lock in, you got to be efficient, you got to pitch deep into that game. And he did. And he had a lot of those Pirates off balance. He had a lot of the Pirates expanding their zone.
He was pitching inside very well.
He was excellent. And he set up, I can't remember who it was that he set up. It may have been Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's had a great series, where it was 0-2, and then he elevated the fastball above the zone. Nothing really you can do with that. 97, up top, and he didn't. Whoever was swung through it for a strikeout. Liberatore's stuff looks good, but we are like building toward, oh, this is legit. He seems like he's going to be a dude now.
Well, he had another one too. Brian Reynolds, I think it was a sweeping. It was a back foot slider that I don't think that Brian Reynolds ended up going. He didn't end up swinging at it, but it like set up that inside cutter that just froze him.
Yeah,
it's like stuff like that. I mean, he's looking like the pitcher that the Cardinals traded for.
Right. And it's taken a while, but given those opportunities, man, that's good. So Jordan Walker's in other cases, he's hitting below 200. They got to let him play.
Yeah.
He is struggling. Like, we can admit the young guy is struggling, but you got to let him play, because if he's going to be a big leaguer, he's going to have to work in and out of slumps.
He doesn't have confidence. He just got a 2-run single, which is good for him.
Yep.
But he doesn't, for me, watching him play, he lacks confidence. Like in whatever's going on with his hands, his legs, his body, how he needs to approach at bat, swinging the bat, whatever changes they have tried to make, which I'm sure they're trying to make changes to make him a better player. Mm-hmm. He hasn't adapted, and it's not comfortable for him, and it's in his head. I watch him, and the reason why I say that, because if you watch him play, every time he gets 2 strikes on him, about 95% of the time he'll call timeout. It's almost like an automated response. I got 2 strikes. I need to take a timeout here.
He did it last night.
He just did it.
Got away with it. It was a late one.
Yeah, Paul Skenes was in his windup, was already ready to deliver home. But that's a response to, I'm struggling. Let me figure out how to set this up I'm going to throw the pitcher off. Well, you're not, because now they know every single time they get 2 strikes on you, you're going to call a timeout. So I would not call a timeout one time and just swing the damn bat. You might get one right down the middle because they aren't expecting you to be standing there waiting for the pitch. I think he's just mentally in his head. I don't think it's a physical thing. We've seen the ability, the changes he's made in the outfield. That's a physically gifted player that is able to do those things and fix it quickly. Batting, I think, is one of the hardest things in all of sports. Like that and playing cornerback, for me. Cornerback is the most difficult position on a football field because you're going backwards while somebody's running full speed. They know where they're going. You have no damn clue. Mm-hmm. I think batting is probably up there number 1. Yeah. Because it's hard as hell. You fail 70% of the time. They're gonna have a bust for you and say you're a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. You hit the ball 30% of the time.
Right.
You're great. Is it? Yeah, it is.
Right.
So it's something that he's struggling with, but I think it's more mental right now than it is physical. And eventually, hopefully, that mental part will all come together.
Yeah. So we're getting some comments in the snake pit. So Brandon says Walker just hit a two RBI single. Thomas, is there such a thing as reverse announcer jinx? You brought up Walker, and then he drives in 2 runs. 2 runs 2 seconds later. I wish there was. We actually already saw. We already saw that Walker. That's why I brought him up. CD just got to his point quickly, and we didn't mention that he drove in the 2, but we had saw that he did that, so that's why we transitioned to Walker.
By the way, Carey, you bring up cornerback hitting a baseball, 2 of the hardest things to do. Mm-hmm. Deion Sanders did both.
He did.
Yeah, no kidding.
At a high level.
No kidding. Yeah. DLW 1904, any word on why Arenado was scratched? Yes, back spasms. Back spasms got him again. So that's why he was scratched. Nolan Gorman started the game at third base. Arenado was originally in the lineup, but again, he was scratched for, according to Derek Gould, back spasms. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got what's trending next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. After the Cardinals won 2-1 last night, beating Paul Skenes and the Pittsburgh Pirates, they pick up a victory today, 5-0 the final score. We'll talk with Brad Thompson later in the show to recap this series against the Pirates. And we'll also talk with head coach of your St. Louis Battlehawks, Anthony Becht, at 4:30. But coming up next, we have What's Trending. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, I want to bring up something that I'm sure a lot of people love us talking about, and that is the association, the NBA. Carey brought up.
By the way, sorry, Marsh, but Cardinals just won 5-0. So they sweep the Pirates.
Make sure you let them know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
They did not avoid the sweep.
no, they actually just broke out the brooms. Wow. Continue, Marshy. My bad.
Anyways, Anthony, you're trying to hijack. You don't want to talk about the association either.
I do.
No, I get it.
Oh, there's good stuff there.
Carey, I wanted to bring up two things in particular. Mm-hmm. The Thunder, they're already down 1-0 in the series, and the Cavaliers are down 2-0 to the Pacers. Both these teams are the number one seed in their respective conference. You question whether or not these two teams could make it to the finals. Do you see why maybe there's a reason behind that, or is it too early in this second round series?
Well, I don't think it's too early. The Cavs got a lot of injuries. Garland is hurt. Mobley missed last night. Like they were all banged up, and they couldn't box out to save their lives. Tyrese Halliburton knocked down shot to end the game. Beautiful thing. And the OKC Thunder, hey man, they playing against a guy named Nikola Jokic, who is a bad dude. Like he's probably not going to win the MVP. SGA, I think, shot out of there early in the season and kind of may have had it wrapped up by All-Star break. But Nikola Jokic is tough, and Aaron Gordon, he hit a game-winning three in that game. So yeah, all four of the top seeds lost at home in this second round, and the Cavs being the only team that has lost twice so far. But it has been I don't know that the Cavs have it in them. They got everything that you want. I just don't think. I think that might be a bad matchup against the Indiana Pacers. And then OKC, man, good luck to him, because like I said, Nikola Jokic is a different dude. Like, and I mean, I can't figure it out. He plays so damn slow. And it's no explosion to him. I don't even think he dunks the ball. He's 6'11", 7 feet. And he just does his thing at his pace. I'm going to dump it off. You double me? Okay, I'm going to find somebody. It's like so slow motion. And it's almost like poetry.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He simplifies it, right?
He does.
You do
he
this,
makes it easy.
I'll do that. You know, he doesn't, like, they're not the same player, but how you're describing his style of play reminds me of Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Like when Tim Duncan used to get in the post and they would go to him first. If he knew he could walk somebody, he would handle it, go off the glass and in. If he got doubled, he'd kick it out to Ginobili or Parker and either keep the offense going or let them shoot. And it just, I mean, they beat the Nets to win the NBA Finals in 1 year, just solely on that. It was download a Duncan, he could do it, or he'd kick it back out. It kind of reminds me of that, like, hey, whatever, we'll just do whatever you do. Don't worry, we've got a way to beat you.
That's a very good comparison, except for it now pull Duncan out by the 3-point line and have him facing the basket and be able to do whatever the hell he wants, because it's essentially the same.
Right.
Great footwork, great job of finding open teammates when they need to, when he's doubled. Dude, he's different. But yeah, the OKC might be in trouble. The Cavs, they'll probably come back and win a couple in this series.
Now on to hockey. Everybody can take a breath here. No, Jackson did not bribe me to bring this up.
Okay. I mean, it is the NBA playoffs.
It is the NBA playoffs. So hockey, obviously the playoffs are going on right now, but that's not what I want to bring up. Gentlemen, the Utah Hockey Club are no longer the Hockey Club.
Oh.
They have a name and a logo. They are the Utah Mammoth. So now we have the Mammoth, woolly mammoth, and the Nashville Predators based off the saber-toothed tiger.
Right. So we're basically doing Ice Age in the
Cretaceous.
Yes.
Cretaceous period.
Yeah.
Now we need the San Antonio Sloths.
Yeah. I kind of like Yeti for them, but
Well, obviously we all love that, but they can't do it
because of the Yeti,
because of the Yeti. I do like their logo though. There's a lot of people that don't like the logo.
It kind of looks like the Jazz.
But I really like the logo.
Like the mountains for the Jazz, unless I'm going crazy.
So the mountains turn into the mammoth.
Yeah.
One thing I do like though,
it's not bad.
Their dark jerseys will have the mammoth logo.
Yeah, and
with
the home.
with a third logo patch, Utah patch up, on the shoulders. But the home jerseys will remain the same with the Utah going down, but with the woolly mammoth logo on the shoulders.
So they just reverse it. Yeah.
I kind of like it.
The road jerseys are a little busy because of the
lettering,
square, like the lettering, the square. But I do like the mammoth on the home.
I think it's a cool logo.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've
like seen worse.
We've seen way worse.
We've seen way worse.
Yeah, I like it. I'm all right with it.
I do wish they were the Yeti.
You give it a pass?
Yeah, what would you give it on the?
I give it a solid B.
A B?
Yeah, I give it a B.
Okay.
You like the woolly mammoth or the Utah?
I like the Willie. Well, I like the logo, the Willie Mammoth logo.
Mm-hmm.
I like the home jersey better though, with the mammoth on the shoulders, because I think the road jerseys they're like the state of Utah on the shoulders looks a little busy. That's all.
Okay,
but I'm nitpicking. It's fine.
Maybe.
Real American Intelligence says I wanted Utah Swarm. The area is called the Hive. That's pretty cool.
Ooh,
the Swarm, Utah Swarm.
I mean, it's not as cool as the St. Louis Archers.
Oh boy.
I don't think we all agreed on that one.
Okay.
Actually, I know we didn't.
What?
Yeah,
I was on.
We all agreed that it wouldn't be the Archers.
Yeah, I think we did.
If the team, if either an NBA or an NFL team came here,
Why not?
Yeah,
nobody likes it except for Marsh.
Archers would be better.
Carey was coming around to
Archers
it.
No,
would
he
be
wasn't.
better
Yeah, he
for
was.
basketball, and they shoot the lights out.
No, they would have to go back to the Spirit of St. Louis.
Well, what are you gonna be? Spirits?
The Spirit of St. Louis.
That's not
Spirits.
It's just kind of just kind of weak.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That logo is incredible.
No, it is. It is.
It's a sweet logo.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what, Marsh? I will give you this. You know your jerseys. You know your sweaters. So you're going with the old school St. Louis Spirits with the airplane
with the orange
swoosh.
plane.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't like that?
It's great. It's good. Looks good. It looks good.
Isn't there a team close to home that's got an airplane logo? Maybe green and gold?
The Jets?
No.
Green and gold.
Green and gold.
Green and white is the Jets.
Yeah.
That's close.
Which team are you talking about?
Thinking of a high school team in the local area.
Oh, gotcha.
The Flyers.
I don't love that either.
You don't like that?
The Flyers.
Yeah.
Lindbergh.
We got a text.
I mean, I get it, but
Did Anthony just name their mascot Willie Mammoth? That's actually a great name.
The Willie Mammoths. What's the mammoth? Is it Manny in Ice Age?
I think so.
I think it's Manny the mammoth.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got your mascot now.
Cool.
Utah.
Anything's better than Bowie.
It's true. Although the damn thing haunts you at night.
It does.
Yeah. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So Cardinals win today 5-0 over the Pirates. They sweep the series against Pittsburgh. They have now won back-to-back series because they split against Milwaukee, correct? Or did they take that one too?
They won 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they split.
Was it 2 out of 3?
Oh, no, they took 2 of 3. Yeah. So they took the series against Milwaukee. They took the series against... They split with Cincinnati. That's who I was thinking of. Took the series against the Mets, swept the series against Pittsburgh, and you got a date with the Nationals starting Thursday. Or, Friday. They're off tomorrow. So, this team's rolling, boys. This team's rolling. Let's check the old standings.
Yeah.
Only 3.5 games back.
They're at 500 right now.
They're at 500. Plus 7 run differential. You know what's better? You know what's better? The fact that they're 19-19. It's way better than 12-26, which is what your Buccos are.
Did you expect this team to be 500 at the start of May?
Did I expect it?
Like the early part of May, based on their schedule?
No.
So are they exceeding expectations for you right now,
Yeah.
record-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm being fair, yeah.
How about you, Carey?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that they've exceeded my expectations.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's good either. It's, obviously, it's mid. They are 500.
How do y'all want me to answer this?
Truthfully.
Huh? You want the truth? Well, what I think is...
What was your expectation, though? Like, let's not...
I expected them to be 3rd or 4th in the division.
And they're 3rd.
And just left 4th. So
Correct.
So they're meeting your expectations.
So they're on the way up.
Essentially, yeah.
They're on the rise, is what you're saying.
Didn't say that.
Okay.
They just beat... Okay, so, when we played the Twins, the first series of the year, opening series?
Yeah.
It was
Everyone was so excited. Oh,
One of the greatest
Twins
weekends of our lives.
We
Yeah.
beat the hell out of the Twins. We're outstanding.
Drubbed them
Yeah, the Twins are 16-20 right now.
because of that series.
Not just because of that. They're just not good.
Because of that series. Really set them up for
Pirates
failure.
Are 12-26, which you just mentioned.
Hey, you took care of business. You got to beat the teams that
Absolutely.
are below you.
They could lose to these teams too, Carey.
Keep going, then. Let's just keep going.
They took 2. Didn't they take 2 of 3 from the Phillies?
I say
And the
keep
Mets.
going.
And the Mets.
At home.
At home.
Going.
Yeah.
Where are they going now?
Washington.
They're going there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, what's their record? How are they doing on the road?
Well, Washington 17-21. So this is a huge opportunity
How are the Cardinals?
for the Cardinals.
How are the Cardinals on the road?
They won 4 games.
Yeah, they're 4-13.
Well,
But this team's won 5 straight.
they'll have 7 after this weekend, right?
Damn right they will. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey's not a believer. Marsh and I sort of kind of are, not really. The whatever is over for the Blues. That's what Doug Armstrong says. So now what when it comes to building this roster or adding to this roster? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
I'm hoping that we have turned the tide on the whatever, and we're starting to become a competitive team that has expectations, honest expectations, reasonable expectations of success.
That was Doug Armstrong yesterday at the year-end press conference. And he mentioned that a couple of times. I don't know if he mentioned it twice during the presser or once in the presser and then once with our guys BK and Ferrario and T-Bone. But he did mention it several times. So the whatever is done for the Blues. So the question now is, and I think fans, I think we can all kind of jump to some conclusions here. But when it comes to the retool being now in the rearview mirror and the oil tanker pointing in the right direction, to use another Doug Armstrong term, what does it mean for the roster? What does it mean for roster building? Because you got a lot of young guys. You got young guys that earned opportunities this season that will continue to receive big-time minutes, guys like Zach Bolduc and Snuggerud and maybe Dvorsky. And then you got some young guys, too, in the minors that might get more opportunities. So when you guys hear the whatever is over, what does that mean to you when it comes to the roster build?
That means that they are right where they thought they should be. They have done a good enough job in terms of drafting and evaluating, developing, trading, offer sheeting, whatever they have done to get the players that are on their current roster. They've done a good enough job of it that they don't think that. To me, that means that the expectations are we should be in the playoffs from here on out.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a rebuild or a retool, your expectations aren't high. Your expectations aren't to be in the playoffs or make a push for the Stanley Cup. They are, hey, man, we're trying to get better. Work with us. Mm-hmm. Be patient. Don't rush us. We're working on it. When he says we're no longer in the whatever, no, we're here. We are a team that expects to be playing playoff hockey for the next 4, 5, 6 years, however many years you have this roster constructed in the way that it is. And we expect to be in our championship window. Having an opportunity doesn't mean you're going to win a championship because it's hard as hell. But you are putting yourself in a position to be in those conversations. And I think that's essentially what he's saying. We're in those conversations now. We are maybe not a Stanley Cup, front runner, but we are in the conversation to be able to push some teams to the brink and maybe surprise some people until we get to that point where we are the Stanley Cup front runner.
I think Carey's right. From a team perspective, the expectations rise. But I think for some of the younger players as well, those expectations are rising too. Like a Zach Bolduc, right? Like this year, heading into the season, at the beginning of the season, he was taken out of the lineup. But this year should have been, at least for him, a chance to get his feet wet and develop and not be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Well, now he's sort of shown us that he can be a hockey player in this league. And so those expectations rise for him. Dylan Holloway, those expectations rise for him. Jimmy Snuggerud only played a few games, right? So maybe he's in that camp that Zach Bolduc was last season. Mm-hmm. So, but for some of the younger players like Tyler Tucker, his role's probably going to expand. So those expectations will rise for him. So when it comes to a retool, I think a lot of those players, they end up getting a little bit of runway. Now that this whatever is finished, those expectations rise, and maybe some of that runway is not there as much.
Yeah, and I wonder, too, guys, if we see Doug Armstrong kind of be patient in the offseason because of those young players. He doesn't have to rush into market and get into a bidding war for somebody like Mitch Marner. Right. Who's going to be one of the top free agents. And I think some Blues fans will probably have the expectation, go out, get the biggest name because, hey, you said the whatever is over with. But to me, with those young players, you've got that runway to be patient. You can wait until the trade deadline if you want to add somebody. And I think Doug Armstrong has this knack for striking when the iron is hot. Ryan O'Reilly, perfect timing on that. Braden Shen, perfect timing on that trade. Cam Fowler, a lot of people kind of groaned about the Cam Fowler deal. Mm-hmm. Wound up being pivotal for them. You can because of what you just did and what you just saw with these young players, knowing you have a veteran core still of Shen and Kyrou and Pareko and Thomas, you can wait a little bit. See what you really need at the deadline, and then if you have to overpay a little bit at the deadline to get something that you need to put yourself over the top, you can do so. I don't necessarily think it has to be in the offseason.
I don't know that. See, I think if you are done with the whatever, I think you are trying to put yourself in that championship window. So if he were to go out in this free agent period once it starts and go get a Mitch Marner, you're like, okay, yeah, they are really entrenched in, we're trying to put ourselves in the best position possible to win a championship. I don't know that I don't know that this is a team, and I guess it goes both ways. You could wait to the trade deadline and get that extra bump and go. But I also thought I heard him say he wasn't looking for a 1-year rental. If they got 2 years of term, and normally at the trade deadline, it's a guy that's got a 1 year, going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So he's looking for guys with 2-3, years left on that contract, so that he knows that they are in the fold for the forthcoming future. So I think they might be more busy in the offseason than they would be at the trade deadline.
You know what, though? Regardless of which way he chooses, he's got options.
Yeah.
Because of what happened, what transpired this past season, not just making the playoffs, but how they made the playoffs and how their young guys came about.
We always had that conversation. We make jokes about it, but, if the Tampa Bay Rays come calling about somebody, maybe you should hang on to that person.
Yeah.
I wonder if other teams around the league look at Doug Armstrong. If he's calling you, asking for somebody, maybe you think twice about keeping that player based on what he did this season, bringing in Broberg, Holloway, Cam Fowler, even like a Radek Faksa, for instance. Like, he played his role to a T. You pause for a second, because what Doug Armstrong has done is he's shown that he is a cutthroat general manager and that he's going to do whatever it takes to make this team, like he said, 5% better each and every year.
Yeah, if going back to your Cardinals thing, if the Rays call Mo, you politely say, hey, we love that player. You hang up, you find out who the hell that player is, because you probably don't know. You promote him, and you watch him bloom. Like, not Heim bloom, but no. Like, okay. You watch that player develop. It's pretty easy, really. And I don't know if it's still that way. I don't know if we could still classify that with the Rays, but if any good team really wants one of your players, you just promote him. What's he in single A? Great, bring him up to the big leagues.
Right now.
They'd probably keep him down there for 3 years.
Yeah,
and
then trade him.
Then he'll get hurt. And then they'll bring him up. But
not this Cardinals team. They've won 5 in a row.
It's true.
What has been the best decision for the Cardinals, or by the Cardinals thus far? We've often turned this thing negative, but what has been one of their best decisions in 2025?
Got a snake pit message. Your daddy. Still hard to understand living and working in a city that craps on their team every chance you get. Your daddy probably doesn't listen to us every day.
He's going to love this upcoming segment.
There you go.
Yeah, positivity.
This is for you.
Next on 101 ESPN. If you're not playing Underdog Fantasy, what are you waiting for? You could start a playoff series by using a Game 1 boost in their extender promo. Continue boosting each game. Then you can unlock the next boost. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the boosts are, and the bigger the winnings can be for you at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's got all their sports selections, whether it's NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. You can play now in the state of Missouri, and millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog, and you could be next. To play, all you have to do, download the app, and I got a special offer for you coming up here in a second. Choose a player and choose whether or not they'll go higher or lower on the stat that you choose. So for Carey, he may have looked at the Warriors game last night and decided, you know what, I don't know, Draymond Green to go higher when it comes to his rebounds, or maybe with Steph Curry now out, you're looking at somebody else to go higher than points. It's all up to you, but make your picks, and once your entry feels good, you can play with for as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So download the Underdog app, sign up using my promo code Anthony to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, that promo code is just my first name, Anthony. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details concerned with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. What has been the best decision thus far by the Cardinals in 2025? We have been negative on this Cardinals team. We've been skeptical, and I think it's time, at least during a 5-game winning streak, for us to kind of look back and say, all right, what has been the best decision they have made thus far for 2025? Carey, would you like to lead us off?
Sorry, I was responding to your daddy. He's one of those guys. If you actually watch the games.
Sure.
Because we don't. It's just our job.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah.
We, you know.
Listen to show every day, watch sports every day, and if you actually watch the games, you would see they are playing better than they have in a while. Are they a great team? No, but they are playing better. Yeah, I agree. All right. So, Carey.
Best decision has been to, fail or succeed with the team you got, with the young guys, giving them opportunities. Victor Scott, Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker got a 2-run RBI today. He hasn't been great. Nolan Gorman hasn't been great. Alec Burleson is starting to get better. He went 0 for today. But, you allowing the guys, Avon Herrera, before he got injured, great. We don't like him as much behind the plate. But he is outstanding at the plate. And so him getting back, hopefully in the next couple of days, you get that bat back in your lineup. I think the best decision was to go in the route that they went and not feel the need, even maybe in the bullpen, but not feel the need to go out and, go after a bunch of high-priced free agents.
Yeah.
Just stick with what you got. Give these guys an opportunity to play. If you can move on from Nolan Arenado and Ryan Helsley at some point, and then get more of a youth movement going and letting those guys play every single day instead of Burley and Gorman having to pretty much rotate depending on who's hot at the time, then I think that's the best decision that they've made, though.
Marsh, interested in yours. For me, though, it's including Matthew Liberatore in the starting rotation. When I'll be honest, when they broke out of Jupiter and they broke camp, I'm like, man, this just seems like we're on repeat here with Liberatore. They'd give him a couple of chances, a couple of starts in the regular season over the last couple of years, and he'd have one good start, and then the other two were just meh. But he had a really good spring, and the Cardinals decided to go with him in the starting rotation, and they have been handsomely rewarded. He has been rewarded for his whatever he did over the winter and now in spring training. It has transferred over, and Marsh, you had alluded to this at the start of the show. It looks like the player that the Cardinals were excited to get out of Tampa when they gave up Jose Martinez and Randy Rosarina in that deal. So I love now, in hindsight, the decision that the Cardinals have made to include Liberatore in the starting rotation. And as I mentioned before, it no longer looks like he's just earning a spot and, hey, he could maybe he could be a fourth guy. His stuff is playing very well, and I think maybe he could be a top-of-the-rotation guy at some point. Maybe not an ace, but somebody that's at the top of the rotation for the Cardinals.
I don't want to repeat what you said. That one could be the best. I think there's a lot of different ones that we could bring up. I'm going to bring up something that Carey mentioned earlier in the show, and that's giving Victor Scott the everyday center field job. We've had so many conversations about Nolan Arenado.
Well said.
Playing third base and blocking other players. What role did Michael Ciani actually have on this team long term? He was never going to be he was never going to be your everyday center fielder for the next 10 years.
Right.
So why not give that opportunity to a guy who deserved it, who played his way into the starting lineup, and he's taking advantage of that right now. And the Cardinals, they look like a different team, I think, with him versus Ciani. They do the similar things in the outfield. I think Victor Scott's bat is way better than Michael Ciani's.
Sure.
Plus, he's the future of your team. So if he's ready and wants to take on that role as the starting center fielder,
go for it.
Then go for it. And they did it. They gave it to him, and I think it's working out really well for him.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Going back to what Carey said, given the runway for certain players, I'm glad so far that even though he has struggled of late and he had a big RBI, 2-run RBI single, 2 RBI single to break the game open today, Jordan Walker has mostly struggled. But to me, unless he's so overwhelmed and the kid just needs, a full mental break and giving him several weeks in Memphis is going to benefit him, I don't think you send him down at all. And they did give him a couple of days off, clear his head a little bit, maybe work on some things. But if you want this kid to be a big leaguer, you got to let him have some success, see if he can capitalize on that, build some momentum. And perhaps just as important, if not more so, he's got to learn how to fail and work through slumps like the one he's in now.
Yeah, I agree. I think just allowing them to figure it out. This is not a season. This is, like we were just talking about Army, and they're out of the retool, rebuild, whatever. The Cardinals are in a retool, rebuild, whatever. Yeah. Like they are in the midst of it. There is no expectations for this team to win a championship this year. There is no expectation for this team to make a deep playoff run this year. If they make it into the playoffs as a wild card or they find a way to win the division, people will be shocked. And maybe not the people in the clubhouse, maybe not the people down there at Busch Stadium, but the people outside of it, because you don't think that this team, as of now, has all of the pieces set in place to have the success that it needs.
Sure.
But you gain that by allowing these young players to either sink or swim. And we're going to find out a lot this year about Nolan Gorman, about Alec Burleson, about Jordan Walker, we will know by the end of this year and probably maybe into the middle of next year if these guys can actually play baseball at the major league level. And that's only known by giving them the opportunity. If you don't give them the opportunity, you're just like, he can't play. How the hell do you know?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing in the world. You have to give them opportunities, and so you'll know.
We get a text from the 636. I would say Brant Brown would be one of them. The offense has been really good this year.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. Yep. Absolutely.
I like old Brant. Seems like a good guy.
You might go what?
I said I like old Brant.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you might go Brant. I'm like, what do you mean with your name? Like,
I went Eric.
Brant Davis.
Eric Davis.
Eric Davis.
We get another text from the 314, St. Louis Sports Media, and this is all in quotes, where we celebrate mediocrity and you're going to like it.
Oh.
End quote.
That seems different than the one we got before where the guy was saying that we're incredibly negative and he doesn't understand why St. Louis Sports Media is always negative about the local teams. I'm so confused.
Yeah, a text from Pete in the 314 says, CD, I will not be shocked when we win the division because we will win the division. I don't know I know that you don't see that, and it's okay, but we will.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
That was polite.
It was.
It's very polite.
Respectful.
I find it interesting that there's a section of people who want not necessarily crap on the Cardinals, but they don't want us to BS them.
Right.
This team is not a great team. Then there's the other section of people who don't want us to talk crap on them. Mm-hmm. We do. We get snarky sometimes, but there's a track record here, right? But when they're playing good baseball, we'll talk about how they're playing.
Right.
They will dictate how we talk about them based on how they play. It's that simple.
I don't think people understand that. I think some people live in a world where they want to be praised regardless of what they do. If you give bleep effort, you get no praise. Mm-hmm. If you give great effort, you get praised. If you give great effort and you don't succeed, we're going to say it ain't good enough.
Yeah.
If you stink, I'm going to say that. I don't live in a world where I praise people just because they showed the fast lane up. And if that's the world that you live in, sir, ma'am, I apologize for you. Not my problem. It's a you problem. You should look in yourself in the mirror when you wake up and say, I need to be better. I should expect more than what I'm going about for my day-to-day life.
Very true.
That's it.
I'm confused, though, now. Like, are we supposed to just praise them or not?
Nope. You call it like you see it, Anthony.
I think we're supposed to be honest about the team.
Can I go back to my motto, which is that if they play good, I say nice things. If they play poorly, I say mean things?
There you go.
All right.
That's essentially
what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I have done. Cardinals won 5 in a row. Probably going to win the World Series. What exactly is your plan? A certain team in the NFL that continues to muck things up? Here we go. That's next on 101 ESPN. If you need a new ride, maybe you recently got in an accident and all of a sudden people are telling you that your car is totaled. Well, head down to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They've got plenty of pre-owned vehicles for you. In fact, they've got 800 new and used vehicles all in one easy location out in Herculaneum, right off I-55 in McNutt, just minutes from South County. And here's the best part. When you head to Auto Center's Nissan, AutoCentersNissan.com, you're going to peruse the selection. You might find yourself a new Altima or maybe a pre-owned vehicle that's a different make and model than Nissan. When you head down to Herculaneum, they will have your vehicle for you. We're not talking about lot hopping, or you got to search out whatever location that the dealership has a vehicle for you. No, at Auto Centers Nissan, everything's in one spot. And they got the Bloom and Vroom sales event. No payments for 6 months on select new Nissans. No payments for three months on used vehicles. A complimentary new car lifetime warranty. A 30-day new car return promise. And 3 oil changes included on every new Nissan. So check them out online at AutoCentersNissan.com or in person in Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan, where the inventory is big, the savings are bigger, and the nonsense is nowhere to be found. Well, Carey's Pittsburgh Steelers decided to trade George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys today for draft picks, and hey, they can do what they want. CD, though, I got to ask you, what is the game plan here? Like, there's several NFL teams where I'm like, what are we doing? Because I'm sure you have a plan. I just don't know what the plan is. So for your Steelers, who are seemingly content with just allowing time to pass before signing Aaron Rodgers, but also giving away some of his weapons, what is the game plan, you think?
I don't know if you saw this offseason. Steelers made a trade. A trade before this trade.
Which one?
They got DK Metcalf. They're good.
Okay.
Good to go. Why they traded George Pickens, I don't know. I have no clue.
Well, do you think
I would assume
maybe it's an issue, though?
I would assume
like
that it has
an issue.
Yeah, like they have been kind of down this path the last, I don't know, 10 years with 3 or 4 of their top receivers that they've had: Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Chase Claypool. Like, they all have been traded away, and they all were. Chase may not have been the number one, but in terms of catching passes, it might have been Deontay, but
yeah, they
all were 1 or 2. So for them to move on, I think it says more about the player than it does about this organization. I guess my question would be is, if you were going to trade them, you probably get more during the draft if you trade a player of George Pickens' caliber and his talent level and his ability. There are some teams that are in need of wide receivers that may have just missed out on
like
the guy
Cowboys?
that they wanted. Yeah, I mean, you might have been able to get a second-round pick.
Right.
Third round isn't terrible, but, you know, you weren't going to get a first-round pick. But I don't know why they decided to go and move on from George Pickens. The only thing I can say is probably wasn't a fit with what the Steelers organization wanted to do, and they wanted to get something in return for it.
So the move, which includes a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick sent to the Steelers, comes after another ESPN report saying that Pickens, 24, wanted to remain in Pittsburgh. Acquiring Pickens, who has 2,841 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns over their 3 NFL seasons, addresses an area for the Cowboys that is in need. Although, I mean, I never really understand how teams become infatuated with adding another wide receiver when they have a dude, when they have a number one.
Well,
like CeeDee Lamb is number one.
Yeah, you always need another guy opposite of that number one receiver.
Definitely, but I don't understand why it becomes an obsession for some teams.
Well, some teams aren't good, Anthony.
You know what? Good call.
Some teams aren't good. They don't construct their roster well. They don't know how to
good call.
How to make things happen in the way that they should. The Dallas Cowboys did need another receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had some guys over the last couple of years. Injuries have kind of taken them out, but I think George Pickens is a really good receiver. I don't know that he's a number one receiver, which is why I was so excited when we got DK Metcalf. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, we got 1A, 1B, and now the offense isn't solely focused, and the defense, there aren't so many eyeballs on George Pickens. You can split it up with having both of those guys opposite of each other. I don't know. I don't know why they did it, other than they felt like he was just not a fit.
See, this goes, I think, hand in hand with, you know, as we transition from the Steelers to one of their rivals in the division, the Bengals. Mm-hmm. They paid Burrow. Yeah, great.
Yep.
They paid Chase. Great. But then they paid T. Higgins because they wanted to make sure that Joe Burrow is happy. But their defense, huge question mark. I don't know what's going on with Trey Hendrickson. I don't know if
might not be. I don't know how much money they got left to pay him.
So their defense was a sieve last year.
They are more than a Trey Hendrickson away from
totally. I know they drafted Shamar Stewart, but Shamar Stewart is one of those guys where, you know, the college production really didn't match his first round billing. Not that he's going to be a bust or anything like that, but I don't think they got a pure pass rusher in him. I know they drafted Demetrius Knight, you know, who's a linebacker.
I like him. He's downhill.
They added some defensive players, so maybe they can turn this thing around in a hurry, but it really
as good as it is without T. Higgins as it is with him. And Jamar Chase is spectacular. Mm-hmm. T. Higgins is a 1 on pretty much every other team in the league, other than the Minnesota Vikings or, you know, a handful of teams where they already got their 1A receiver.
Yeah.
He's that good.
No question about it, but we just got done talking about proper roster construction. I would rather invest in a third pass rusher than a number 2 wide receiver. If we're just talking about building a successful roster.
Yeah.
I saw the New York Giants win 2 Super Bowls by just drafting pass rusher after pass rusher after pass rusher and saying, if nothing else, we're going to be able to get after the quarterback.
They went and did the same thing this year. They got 3 guys that can get after the quarterback again. So they're trying to recreate that.
They got back to the roots.
Yep.
I got no issue with that. The teams that are like, hey, you know what we can use? Third wide receiver. Like, no. The Lions back in the day, before they figured out what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
And the Lions fans were like, this is incredible. This offense is going to be unstoppable. Not if your quarterback is on his ass constantly. It wasn't until they decided, hey, we're going to go in the trenches first and then work our way out, that they started to win consistently. Yeah. And teams do this all the time. CD, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's amazing to me that certain teams just invest in the skill positions.
Right.
I root for one of them, and they're like, wow, geez, we don't win.
You all would have taken T. Higgins. He'd be your number 1 right now in Atlanta.
But they got Drake London.
He's better.
Drake London's a dude. He's
He
not
ain't T.
Justin.
Higgins.
He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not. But
He's not T. Higgins.
Okay, but
That's one of the teams I was talking about.
that doesn't know what it's doing.
No. That would take T. Higgins if the Bengals let him go.
They shouldn't.
But they could.
Okay.
He's an upgrade.
You know what, CD?
Some teams just have no clue, Anthony. And I refuse to believe
You're
that my
frustrating
Pittsburgh
me now.
Steelers are one of them. They know what they're doing, and they'll be okay. There's another team in that division. I don't know what the hell they're doing either.
Oh, Cleveland?
Yeah, they got like 5 quarterbacks.
That's because they don't have one quarterback.
Yeah, you know what they say? If you got 5 quarterbacks, you probably got none.
And Cleveland is a perfect example of that. The Saints.
The Saints.
Well, like Derek Carr is hurt. Tyler Show comes in. They've got Spencer Rattler and Marsh. I think Marsh is on the roster there. I saw him play the Monday night in Kansas City.
No, I'm way taller.
Heffernan?
Way taller than that.
Yeah,
guy.
my bad. Yeah, my
I
bad.
don't know his name.
Yeah. Drew says London is legit, Anthony. I know. I'm telling CD that.
That guy-
Drake London is legit.
Not Drake
He
London.
is not better than T. Higgins.
That quarterback looked like.
number one.
I think we've talked about this before. He looked like the quarterback that you would throw into like a TV show or a movie.
He looks like during the Water Boy when they said Michigan tried playing its Towel Boy. That's what that looked like. It looked like a scene out of Water Boy.
He was working hard.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Tyler Hennon. I don't know his name.
We still can't. I think it's Travis, isn't it?
Jake.
Jake.
Hayner.
Jake
Hayner.
Hayner.
Tyler?
Yes.
Jake Hayner.
We'll get it someday.
we
Is
probably
BT
won't.
joining us next? No, we probably won't. Is BT joining us next there, Marshy? Did you give us the old...
confirm.
Okay. Cardinals, by the way, 5-0 winners today. 5 straight for your Cardinals. They take back-to-back series, and they've won 2 of their last 3 series overall. So they have looked very good. Matthew Liberatore, excellent performance last night. Sonny Gray backed it up again today with a solid performance. So your Cardinals are rolling right now, and they move from 4th place to 3rd place. And it won't be long, boys, before we're back to number 1, Carey.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk to Brad Thompson about these Cardinals next on 101 ESPN. One of the things that I love about Stewie is that he backs up what he says, or anything that we preach, Jamie and I preach on these airwaves, we know it because we've gone through the process with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. When it comes to Jamie, he, within the last couple of months, moved into his dream home, and because he's got different businesses and he's self-employed in certain areas, and his finances are certainly complicated, a lot of different jobs. Stewie made it easy for him, closed within 2 weeks, and as Jamie has preached, it was the easiest process that it absolutely could have been for me. I dialed the same number, 314-324-4440. That's the same number we hand out on air that I call, because that's Stewie's personal number. I had some questions about houses and stuff like that, and Stewie answered. If he didn't pick up one time, he shot me a text. He said, "Hey, I'm free tomorrow at this time." He makes it super easy. So whether you're looking for a home loan, you don't know if you want to consolidate, you don't know if it's time to do a refi. If you want to consolidate some debt, Stewie can handle all of this for you. But again, you got to call him or text him on his personal cell phone number. And if you miss that number that I just threw out there, Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. After picking up a 2-1 victory last night, the Cardinals come back today and defeat the Pirates 5-0. They sweep the Buccos and they'll head to the nation's capital to take on the Washington Nationals. We're going to talk about this series with our guy Brad Thompson next, so stay tuned right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
We're hanging with Brad Thompson on 101 ESPN.
Hanging breaking ball from Brad Thompson. And boy, does he get a swing on it. Lift and separate and see you later.
Hanging with BT is sponsored by St. Luke's, ranked top 2% in the nation for cardiac surgery by Health Grades. Visit stlukes-stl.com.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and let's head to our Collier and Thompson phone line, where we got our guy Brad Thompson, 2006 World Series champ, FanDuel Sports Network color analyst, and of course our dear friend on the line. And BT, some would say you can't stop these Cardinals; you can only hope to contain them. Would you agree with that notion?
I feel like that's something Chip or I may have said today. It just seems like that's the way that it's rolling. No, look, hey, a lot more fun when you're winning games, right? So they go on a little bit of a winning streak now. They've won 5 games in a row, back to 500, and things are starting to click. Let's be honest. The Pirates are not the best team in the world. You know what you're supposed to do with teams that aren't very good? You're supposed to beat them, and that's exactly what they were able to do. They did knock off 2 out of 3, the best team in baseball record-wise in the Mets. By sweeping that doubleheader. So you're just seeing a lot of positive signs right now, fellas. It's been a lot of fun.
It certainly has, and I love talking to you after wins, and they swept the Pirates today. But, Brad, I have to go back to last night before we jump ahead here. I got to ask you about Liberatore. I was at the game on Friday night when he pitched against the Brewers, and I thought he was excellent. And then last night, he pitched against, obviously, Paul Skenes. So to me, it has gone from, man, this guy's turning heads, and oh, look at this is nice, coming off the spring training. But now it looks like something else is building. It looks like he could be a dude. Is this all coming in together? Are we watching this in real time, having it come together for him, and maybe he could be at one point a top of the rotation guy for the Cardinals?
Anthony, it's been a minute, okay, since I've been on the show with you, but you're in my brain because the first thing that I was going to say was, Anthony, he's a dude, is what I was going to say. So he is, guys, like you can just see it, right? You can see the confidence, the way that he carries himself, not only when he's throwing the baseball, but like when the ball's put in play. He's strutting around the mound, he's feeling it, and he just believes in everything that he's doing out there. And credit to him, man, he put in the work. This is a guy that they looked at some of the numbers a year ago, specifically with his fastball and slider, that they didn't play as well as they should. And they tweaked his grip a little bit, and they worked on getting more ride on his fastball. It's staying a little truer up in the zone, and we saw that play really well. 5 of his 8 strikeouts were on that fastball last night. His slider has been tight. That's a pitch he's able to use to both righties and lefties. And look, I don't know what the next step looks like. I just know right now, at 25 years old, throwing the ball the way that he is right now in his first real run as a big league starter is impressive. And this is the guy that the organization traded for. So there have been plenty of times to joke around about the trade and the Randy Arozarena, and look what he's done, and this one gone wrong. Well, now is the time where you look at it and be like, oh, okay, here it is. We've been talking for a long time, I know you guys have too, about the fact that he's young, right? We're trying to evaluate a 23-year-old pitcher, then a 24-year-old pitcher, and now he's starting to come into his own. So I think that he's got front end of the rotation stuff written all over him, and he's certainly got the poise to do it.
BT, you were a rookie At one point, a long time ago, you and I, we were young. We were young men
it's been so
at once.
long now, hasn't it?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Talk to me about Gordon Graceffo and Michael McGreevy, but I want to start with Gordon Graceffo. He got roughed up in his first outing out in Boston, but since then has been really good. And last night picked up a save. What have you seen from him and his maturation in this short period of time?
Yeah, so the Boston one, as you guys know, I mean, that was the old Boston Massacre, if you will. Maybe not the original one, but it was the one where it was not great early on. He came in, he had to eat up some innings. He got beat up as well. It was cold. It was very hard to get a feel for anything. Regardless, didn't look the same as he looked when he went 5 innings against the Reds on the road. He was awesome and just looked like a guy that said, here it is. Okay, I'm in the big leagues. I've got an opportunity right now, and I'm going to show you exactly what I am. And that's what he did. He shoved against the Reds for 5 innings, and then he gets the nod to close out a ball game. You get 7 strong last night, 7 awesome innings out of Matthew Liberatore. The 8th inning is handled by Matz, and you could have said, hey, let's let Matz run with it. Ryan Helsley was down. Maton was down in this ball game, and you said, should we let the veteran go? Ollie and Dusty decided, hey, let's let the kid go for it. We like the stuff. We like the poise. And he goes down there and locks down his first save. So, yes, he's a young pitcher. Yes, he's trying to get his footing. But, CD, you know this as well as anybody. If you don't believe in you, nobody's going to believe in you, right? Like, he went out there and just said, here it is. Here's the heater. Here's the breaking ball. I'm going to attack. And when you're on attack mode, you put everybody else on their toes. I thought he's done a good job with that. He's showing the poise. And, look, if he keeps throwing the ball the way that he is, I don't see any reason for him not to be a part of this bullpen for the rest of, whatever this looks like. There's going to be moving pieces. It's really important in a bullpen to have guys that have options. You got to switch him in and out every once in a while, but he is becoming, in short order, an arm that they trust.
BT, I think there's a lot of storylines this season, and there were a lot of question marks heading into the year. One of those question marks was team defense, and right now the Cardinals lead Major League Baseball in team outs above average with Victor Scott in 6th, respectively. Do you think that the defense has been overlooked this season? And when we're looking at this team, because we look at the offense, we're talking about Matthew Liberatore. There's some bullpen issues, but some guys are figuring things out. Do you think that the defense has been overlooked and has done pretty well this year? Especially with that guy catching that ball in the stands yesterday. I think we should count that as well.
If you like that sort of thing, of him going out. I will say again with the dad, maybe body up and protect your family a little bit, but neither here nor there. Family was fine. Nolan Arenado checked on him. Two-parter here. I will answer I will just say something that has nothing to do with the question that you asked. Marsha, your Saliga is getting unbelievable. Unreal. I had goosebumps after that update. Okay, that was that part. The second part is internally, it's not overlooked at all. Like these guys are so hyper focused on it. And you might have a better feel, from the text line and listeners, if that is ever talked about from a fan base standpoint. But this team, the margins are probably going to be narrow oftentimes. The offense has been looking better and better. Started off torrid, is getting back to where it was right now, but they're going to play some tight games. You better play some tight defense, and that's what they've done. There was a real dedication to it in spring training, and really, you look the last couple of years, defense has gotten better and better, but you bring up Victor Scott, and you bring up Jordan Walker. We'll throw him in this conversation as an outfielder. These guys are getting so much better, and it's a testament to their work, first of all, because if you don't put in the work on an individual standpoint, you're not going to get better. But it's the work of John Jay. Like John Jay getting hired, and it's twofold, right? You get to learn from one of the best in Willie McGee over the last couple of years, and then you get a new voice in John Jay that maybe teaches a little bit differently. And you get to learn from both of these guys. How beautiful is that? And we get an opportunity. We're at the ballpark early, seeing these guys go out there and work. And this is not some, BS. Here's a couple fly balls. Go get them, boys. Okay, shower up, get a meal. Like, John Jay's got them working in the outfield, coming in, sweating like crazy. And he's evaluating every little step that they make. He's working hard in between every single pitch of maneuvering his outfielders, putting them in the best position position to succeed. So the instincts are starting to take over for these guys. You look at Victor Scott II, he won a minor league Gold Glove in 2023. Like, that's really impressive. But he won that on the heels of raw, sheer speed. Now, you think about that raw speed and then a great first jump and then instincts, right, of just kind of knowing what your pitcher's trying to do and where the ball, the tendencies generally are. He is hunting down stuff in the gaps and making it look easy. I can't tell you how many teams that we've played against where their opposing broadcaster, with if it's on the road and we can all see each other, they go, how did he catch that? Or they'll come around to our booth and say, that center fielder can scoot. Like, it's really fun to watch. And I'll tell you this, from a pitcher standpoint, it is the best present that you can have is some fielders that can go get it.
Brad Thompson's joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. A couple more things for BT. Where would this team be? Because you watch it, you watch the team day in and day out. Where would this team be with a more productive pen throughout the month of April? And I'm not, obviously there's been some guys, some good performances, BT. It's not the entire pen, but more productive pen. Where is this team right now?
Yeah, I mean, they're 4 or 5 games above 500 probably. I mean, they've got, I think, the third most blown lead losses in baseball. I'm pretty sure that number's right. Maybe it's shifted in the last couple of days. So there are some games that certainly crept away from them, and oftentimes it's that middle innings, right? It's that little bit of a gap. And here's the thing with that gap of innings right there. I bet they knew that was going to happen by moving Matthew Liberatore into the rotation. But that was a risk they were willing to take because you better find out what you have for the future. I think that some of those games, if you have Libby out there, they maybe look a little bit different, and then you can slate it in. Leahy, like you mentioned, has jumped in and done a really good job. Phil Maton, the veteran, has done a good job. Ryan Helsley, he's going to lock it down. But there was a risk involved of moving that guy and moving Libby. But they did it to find out what they had. And what they have is a very productive starter. But you're right. Like, that ends up being the key now is who can step into some of these roles. Leahy has been a dude now. Like, you trust him. And the hope is, guy we talked about a minute ago, maybe Graceffo turns into one of those guys that you really trust. Because I think it's more important now than ever to have multiple guys in your bullpen that can give you multiple innings. Leahy's shown it. He'll give you 2 innings very easily. Graceffo could be another one of those bridge guys where all of a sudden, he gives you, your starter gives you 5, he gives you 6, 7, then you go Leahy, Romero, or Romero, Maton, or however the matchups, the lineup works out. I think that is going to be the next step. But you bring up a great point. Like, there have been some games that have slipped away, and the key is for a young team overall is how do we start figuring out how to win some of these games that we've lost in the past. That's the maturation process.
Brad, great stuff as always, man. Love having you on these airways. We love you, buddy. And keep this gravy train rolling through Washington, D.C. this weekend.
Hey, can't wait. Look, I'm off for the weekend, okay? This is gonna be, I'm gonna be bored. I don't work again. I got pre and post for the Phillies series. I'll head to Kansas City, but it'll be a fun road trip for these guys. I hope they keep it rolling, too. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there over the weekend. I know I'm a few days early, but I won't see you guys, so all the best to you and yours.
Absolutely, yeah. Tell Andrea we said happy Mother's Day, especially during the Cardinal season. Oh, man, I can't imagine. I can't
Talk
imagine.
About deadbeat dad. Yeah. But here this weekend. So
there you go. Good. Hey, you showed up for Mother's Day. That's the key, Brad.
That's not nothing, guys.
No. See you next week, pal.
All right. See you, fellas.
All right. That's our good buddy Brad Thompson, FanDuel Sports color analyst, of course, 2006 World Series champion, breaks down baseball better than most, man. Love hearing from BT and love having him on these airwaves each and every Wednesday here in the Fast Lane. Cardinals win 5-0 today. They sweep the Pirates. They look good, and they're going to get a day off before they head to Washington, D.C. this weekend. We're going to do Bet the Board. We'll do Bet the Board. We'll give our picks for tonight's matchups, and then we've got the Gauntlet after that. So Bet the Board first, next on 101 ESPN.
I think you heard me just wish a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, right? Yeah, that is this weekend. It is coming up, and you might want to think ahead. I guess now can be ahead enough with Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct has got you covered. Look, flowers die, especially the ones you buy last minute at the gas station. Don't do that. Get something beautiful, something classic, maybe something modern or somewhere in between over at Diamonds Direct. How about a pair of diamond stud earrings? That is an easy go-to. I got my wife a pair of these a couple of years ago. She wears them almost every day. Absolutely loves them. But over at Diamonds Direct, they will help you find the perfect gift for mom. If you're looking for something personalized, maybe some colored gemstone jewelry, right? Get a gemstone for each one of the kids. Maybe even throw her a birth gemstone in there. They can do that over at Diamonds Direct. This place is beautiful. It's like shopping 30 jewelry stores all at once. The people are amazing over at Diamonds Direct. Seriously, it's maybe you've gone to a jewelry store before and you felt like it was stuffy and they just wanted to take your money and you were getting upsold all the time. I promise you, you will never have that vibe over at Diamonds Direct. It's like going to a friend's house. You are going to love it. Whatever the occasion, Mother's Day's this weekend. Maybe you got a graduate in your life you want to buy something beautiful for. Diamonds Direct has got you covered. Go check them out online. Go to diamondsdirect.com, but you want to get into the showroom. At Olive and 270 at City Place, it's Diamonds Direct.
Time to bet the board here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, what What are our monthly standings for May?
Yes, Anthony, you have 3 points.
All right.
3 points
All right, I'm
this
excited.
month. Carey and I are tied at 2, and Jamie has 1.
Okay. All right, boys. Every time I go hockey, it doesn't seem to work out for me. So why don't we do this? Why don't I go with the Hot Atlanta Braves minus 120 against Hunter Green and the Cincinnati Reds? Give me the Braves minus 120, please and thank you.
I'll
Go
go
ahead,
next.
Marcy.
Yeah, I probably don't have the same
Struggling.
play. I'm going to go with the Panthers money line. Going back to the well. Well, I guess it was the well with that girl from that scary movie, but because it didn't work last time.
Yeah, what was her name? Anybody get her name?
Nah, I don't know. I don't know if people were asking.
Name.
I don't think people
Oh,
had enough
she had a
time.
Everybody wanted to.
Did she?
She had a name, a backstory. She was a person at one
I think
point.
you wanted to know who she was.
Maybe somebody talked to her, got to know, why she was feeling the way she was feeling. Especially when she was thrown in a well.
Might not have been able to stick around to tell the story, Anthony.
Yeah, if somebody just sat there, she was climbing out of the well and then threw out of your TV and just said, hey, listen, somebody hurt you a long time ago. I want to know your thoughts on it, and I just want to listen. I'll just listen.
Game.
Is it the
Dangerous game
ring?
you're playing.
Yeah, it's the ring.
I think her name is Tabitha.
Tabitha.
That's her
hell is
name in
that?
Scary Movie.
Oh,
Oh, no. She didn't have a name. Nobody talked to her.
that's what I'm saying. Nobody,
You didn't need to know her
Nobody
name.
talked to her, and then she had to jack up your face and leave.
Her name was Sarah.
Samara is what Hog is
Samara.
saying.
Yeah, Samara.
Yeah, Samara.
Yeah. Tabitha in Scary Movie.
Yeah, you just say, hey, listen, time out, Samara. I want to know what happened,
I don't think
who
you were,
hurt you, and let's work through this.
Don't think you'd have been around long enough to get all the answers that you were looking for.
The point is, nobody tried.
You're not wrong.
She was unapproachable.
Very unapproachable.
And that's the
Very
problem, Marsh.
unapproachable.
That line of thinking left a lot of people dead.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Is it
Jacked
on
up
me?
face.
Anyways, I'm going with the Panthers money line.
Okay.
Is it on me?
Yes.
Give me, I guess I'm going to go Marcell Ozuna. Hits, runs, RBI.
Don't you take your non-confident play and just put it on my Braves.
I did. Maybe I'll hit and you won't.
I don't like that.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because I want to win.
You can win, just not this time.
I don't like your attitude. So this is surprising, but I just got a text from Jamie that said, Mumsy loves the Maple Leafs, and I love when her and I are on the same page. And even though he loves Matthew Tkachuk and the Panthers, he's also taking the Toronto Maple Leafs again. His only win thus far is on the Maple Leafs.
This one's not out of spite, though.
No, this is just him wanting what's best for his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially as we approach Mother's Day. So,
It's a good choice.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so I think that's good. I think that's real good. Nice job. Nice job, Jamie. Everybody is saying, people are asking where Jamie is today. Apparently he's sick. So we wish him well, wish our teammate well, and hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with us here in the Fast Lane.
You guys doing anything special for Mother's Day?
I can't expose our plans, Marshy.
Okay.
You know? Krista might be listening. If you are, I love you. I love you, Krista.
There you go. That's very true. Yeah.
Understand.
Saturday is the 5K. Girls on the Run. Maddie and I.
You running?
Maddie chose me as a running partner.
All right.
I don't know when the last time I ran anywhere, let alone 5K. So this could
5K,
be
like 2.3 miles?
I have no idea. It's going to be 5K too much for me.
You're going to put a big beard on, like a beard wig or whatever they call it, and
I'll
put
do whatever.
a hat on. And
I'll do whatever Maddie wants me to do.
3.1.
3.1 miles? Okay. She's been training. She's been training like 2 times a week at least.
Oh, man.
How
I've
far
been
do you
sitting
get?
here with you guys.
How far do you get where you're like, this ain't that bad, and then you hit that point and you're like,
Half a mile.
Crap.
Half a mile.
Half a mile?
If you
Half a
haven't
mile.
run, when's the last time you ran?
Thank you.
Anthony.
Exactly.
I hate to be the bearer of bad. Make sure you stretch.
Yeah.
Stretch your calves. Make sure you stretch your calves. Make sure you get them stretched out, hamstrings, but make sure you stretch both right calf, left calf. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
I have the worst flexibility ever.
You could do the Tony La Russa where you kind of just scoot, you know.
They have a training schedule for, it's like a 7-week training schedule for a 5K run.
I have not done any of it. And it's Saturday.
I need pictures.
We need video.
Video. Kristen, if you are listening, please and thank you.
You want to see me at the end. You want to see me at the start, and you want to see me at the end.
I want to see. I just need to see for myself. Because if you ain't ran, brother, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This ain't going to be as easy as when you were 25 and you hadn't ran.
I fully admit that. I'm not sitting here saying
okay.
oh, no, I've got it. No, I definitely do not have it.
Well, you have pretty good sprint speed. You were telling me that you ran out to the umpire to argue that call at Killian's baseball game.
I just shouted from exactly where I was. The only running I've done.
I thought you ran out to second base on that one.
No, I shouted at him, who was clearly blind, because Killian had touched that bag for the out before the runner did.
They must have brought him to Busch Stadium these past few days.
I guess so, man. No, the only running I've done is from the sidelines to the huddle for flag football. That's it.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
Godspeed.
I appreciate you. All right, Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. So we're just talking about the 5K I'm going to run this weekend with my daughter Madeline. Good thing I've got Mentality. I haven't been running, but good thing I've got Mentality. Mentality is a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men like myself, like Jamie, feel and perform at our very best. You sit down. The process is easy. The board-certified physicians at Mentality are fantastic. They provide a full physical for you, consultation, blood panel analysis, and if you are low on testosterone, you'll know it too. You'll have low energy. The motivation isn't there. You might even feel anxious, moody, irritable, lack focus, the mental clarity. Maybe you're gaining weight consistently even when you do get inside the gym. You make your way in, the results just aren't there for you. You'll know it. Symptoms of low testosterone are all there. But if you do have low testosterone, Mentality can help. They provide treatments designed to fit your lifestyle, and even with a busy schedule, they've got various hours that they have at two different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield. But they'll make you feel good again. Energy comes roaring back. You'll feel like you're getting the gains again in the gym. You'll feel like, at the end of maybe a long weekend, you still feel like you've got plenty of energy and ready to go. So this year, stop settling for a fraction of your potential. Why don't you head down to Mentality, or you visit mentalityhealth.com/radio. You find out more information for yourself, but start to feel like you again, the younger version of you again with Mentality.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
4:05, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we have Grant Francis' fan club on the line right now to play the Gauntlet. So, what can I call you for short?
Sam's fine.
Sam it is. There you go. And Grant is actually here in the building somewhere. So, Sam, it's good to talk with you. You ready to play in the Gauntlet?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Would you like to take on Carey, Marsh, or me?
Well, it seems like everyone's been going with Carey lately, but I swear I've been planning on taking him on first since I lost about a year ago. So
Okay.
give me CD.
Carey Davis.
Good luck, Sam.
Yeah, you too.
Oh,
There you go. Nice. Coach, you hear? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to need it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Thought he didn't mean it.
no, he meant it. He definitely meant it. Yeah. All right. Carey's going to make his way into the cone of silence right now. Sam, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
What are you hoping for, Sam?
Same as a year ago, hockey or random.
Okay, now I'm interested. What did you get?
Baseball.
Okay, so you lost in baseball. Marsh, what do we got?
The wheel knows
It's a baseball.
it's baseball.
Oh, well, hey, opportunity, Sam. It's an opportunity, revenge spot, and you're taken right back to the same arena.
Yeah, at least it's not football against CD.
There you go.
It's like being in the Hunger Games. You think you're good?
Thank you.
And then they bring you back for the 75th quarter quill.
Right. And all of a
And
sudden,
you're right back in there.
all of a sudden you're battling other champions. All right, Sam. 4 questions, all baseball related. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, question 1. Aaron Judge leads the majors in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, and hits, and is tied with Pete Alonso and who else for the lead in RBI? So it's Judge, Pete Alonso, and this player who lead in RBI, or at least whenever.
Pete Alonso, big, strong man.
That's right.
Can I get the options?
Sure. Kyle Tucker, another big, strong man, and Kyle Schwarber, or Teoscar Hernandez?
Oof. I could be wrong. I thought I heard Tucker wasn't having that good of a year. Let's go with Teoscar Hernandez. Final answer.
Question number 2. Tuesday night at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals again made Paul Skenes look mortal. Which of Ollie Marmol's starters outdueled Pittsburgh's ace on April 8th in the Steel City?
Oof. Don't want to do the options because that only narrows it down from like 6 to 3. So I'm just going to shoot my shot and say Fetty. Final answer.
All right, Sam, question number 3. The Pirates' final game at Three Rivers Stadium occurred on October 2nd, 2000. Can you tell us the Buccos' skipper at that time?
No, I cannot, and CD probably can, but I'm going to have to take the options anyway.
All right, your options are Gene Lamont, Jim Leland, or Clint Hurdle.
Well, this question seems like a tough hurdle, so I'll go with Clint Hurdle. Final answer.
I like what you did there.
Question number 4. Over the weekend, Jacob deGrom collected his 1,700. Let's just say this. Over the weekend, Jacob deGrom collected his 1,700th career strikeout. He did it in 225 games, surpassing Yu Darvish and another fireballer, who each reached 1,700 Ks in 230 games. Name this other high-profile pitcher.
Maybe Snell, maybe Nolan Ryan. I'm just going to have to shoot a shot and say Nolan Ryan. Final answer.
All right, we're going to bring back Carey Davis. Sam, you seem unsure, but I'm going to ask anyways. How you feeling?
So it's good. I bet all but question 3 is probably going to be tough for CD too.
Okay. We'll see how CD does here. He's going to plug in his earpods here. And he's going to take a sip out of his propane tank. He's going to clear his throat. He's going to chew because he's
got some food
still chewing.
Well, you all told me to pack a lunch, so I did so.
We didn't say eat the damn lunch, Carey.
Yeah, we just said pack it.
Oh.
And eat it later on.
Well, why would you not eat it if you packed it?
Well, I mean,
okay.
Come on. All right, Carey.
Yeah.
Your category today is baseball.
I love baseball. Been very, very good to me.
All right. Well, you already packed the lunch, so we won't tell you that.
Okay.
Question 1. Aaron Judge leads the majors in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, and hits, and is tied with Pete Alonso and who else for the lead in RBIs?
Oh, man. I was just looking at this earlier. I was trying to figure out who I picked for my bet the board yesterday. I might be able to. Nah, give me the options.
Your options: Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Teoscar Hernandez.
Let's go Schwarber. Final answer.
Question number 2. Tuesday night at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals again made Paul Skenes look mortal. Which of Ollie Marmol's starters outdueled Pittsburgh's ace on April 8th in the Steel City?
Oh, hell. No point in taking the options because I ain't going to know who it is anyways. April 8th. Give me Miles Michaelis. You said which one of the starters, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Miles Michaelis, final answer.
All right, CD question 3. The Pirates' final game at Three Rivers Stadium occurred October 2nd, 2000. Can you tell us the Buccos skipper at that time?
Nope. Options?
Gene Lamont, Jim Leland, Clint Hurdle.
I don't think it was Clint Hurdle. Jim Leland, final answer.
Question number 4. Over the weekend, Jacob deGrom collected his 1,700th career strikeout. He did it in 225 games, surpassing Yu Darvish and another fireballer, who each reached 1,700 Ks in 230 games. Name this other high-profile pitcher.
Oh. Feel like you kind of helped me there with the high-profile pitcher. Maybe I can narrow it down with options. I hate taking options for everyone. Options.
Options are Felix Hernandez, Randy Johnson, or Mike Mussina.
You said high profile. Randy Johnson, final answer.
All right, let's go over these.
All right.
Question 1. Aaron Judge leads the majors in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, and hits, and is tied with Pete Alonso and who else for the lead in RBI? Sam took the options. He went with Teoscar Hernandez. Carey took the options. He went with Kyle Schwarber. Correct answer is
Teoscar Hernandez.
34 RBIs through May 6th. Sam up 1-0 on CD. Tuesday night at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals again made Paul Skenes look mortal. Which of Ollie Marmol's starters outdueled Pittsburgh's ace on April 8th in the Steel City? Neither of you took your options, which is smart because, hey, it's a 1 in 5 chance. CD, you wound up taking Miles Michaelis. Sam, you said Eric Fetty. Correct answer is
Miles Michaelis did start against Paul Skenes and had a good outing last year. It is Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray is the correct answer. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run.
Is Miles Michaelis an option?
No, sir. Damn it. Gray, Fetty, Liberatore. So Sam remains up 1-0. The Pirates' final game at Three Rivers Stadium occurred October 2nd, 2000. Can you tell us the Buccos skipper at that time? Sam went with Clint Hurdle. Carey went with Jim Leland. Correct answer is
it's Gene Lamont.
Gene Lamont, the outlier.
I didn't even think about that.
Gene Lamont. Sam remains up 1-0 on Carey.
Come on, man.
Over the weekend, Jacob deGrom collected his 1,700th career strikeout. He did it in 225 games, surpassing Yu Darvish and another fireballer who reached 1,700 Ks in 230 games. Name this other high-profile pitcher. Sam did not take the options. He shot his shot. He said Nolan Ryan. And we know from CD asking for the options that Nolan Ryan was not an option. Carey decided to see if he can kind of whittle things down with the term high profile. He chose Randy Johnson. If it's Randy Johnson, we have a walk-off. If it's any pitcher that has thrown a baseball at any point in the history of baseball, Sam wins. Sam.
Walk it off.
It was Randy Johnson. Woo! We have a 1-1 tie. We are heading for the walk-off. This is how it's going to work, Sam. You're going to hold off on your answer. Carey's going to write down his answer. And as soon as Carey shows us what it is, you go ahead and say it to us. Sound good?
Yep.
You tell us your answer. All right. Closest to the pin wins. Carey, are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Last season, Jarren Duran paced all of baseball in doubles. How many two-baggers did the Red Sox star record?
I just saw this too, and I don't remember it. All right. That's a lot. Ooh, hold on.
All right, Carey just showed us his number. Okay. And Sam, what is yours?
Let's do 100.
All right. Sam.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Sorry, Sam. You got baseball again. Revenge, unfortunately, was not in the cards for you. Last season, Jarren Duran paced all of baseball in doubles. How many two-baggers did the Red Sox star record? Carey, you wrote down?
47.
We heard Sam say a hundo. Correct answer is?
You had to say either 49 or 48 because it was 48.
48 was the correct answer. Carey wrote down 47. So, Sam, I'm sorry. He got it as close to the pin without it actually going in the cup, man. Sorry, Sam. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating in the show, and we appreciate it. Hope you try again.
Well, I feel like a bird done in by Randy Johnson today. So.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. That bird, yeah.
It was sick.
That bird had a family.
Bird was sick. Well, bird was sick.
Yep.
Technically, Sam. Yep.
That bird was dumb, though. You don't be stepping in front of, not stepping, flying. In front of that ball.
He could have stepped, but all right, Sam. Better luck next time, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Yep, thank you very much.
Good job, Sam.
Sam, devastated. Yeah. Again, he had to wait a full year to play you again in baseball, and you got him again.
And it came down to the wire, too.
It came down to the wire. You needed the last question, right?
Ah, man.
And then you needed to get the closest to the pin tiebreaker, and you did both.
Yeah, tied it up at the last second.
Yeah. Winnipeg Jets.
Won it in overtime.
Oh, Winnipeg Jets here. Gary Davis. All right. I don't know if it is. I think we can talk about it.
Okay.
Hey, the Cardinals have won 5 in a row,
Damn
Anthony.
right they have. Absolutely. No doubt. Let's talk a little Blues. How imperative is it to lock up Cam Fowler past next season? We'll discuss that next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey Davis, and if you have any recycling needs, let my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals help you out. If you're a plumber, heating and cooling, an excavator, or any type of contractor, Scrap Mart Metals Recycling can help make your job easier. If you own that heavy equipment, it breaks down time and time again. It becomes frustrating. You have to repair it over and over and over again. Eventually, the time will come to end your suffering, and Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. At Scrap Mart, they understand that job site cleanup for contractors can be a mess, but if you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it's one less thing you'd have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how the scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. So if you're interested, if you want to make recycling made easy, they offer convenient drive on scale. Visit them today at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. You get the highest payout. You will always get top dollars for your scrap metals. Visit them today at scrapmartmetals.com.
I've said this a lot, but I'm so grateful and thankful to this organization from top to bottom for giving me this opportunity and making me and my family feel so comfortable here. So as scary as that decision was at the time, I'm really happy with how everything's turned out, and me and my family have been so happy here and with this team. So I'm really excited for the future, and I definitely feel like I'm a part of this group now, and the way that everyone has welcomed me into the locker room has made that transition very easy for me. So I'm thankful for that, and to all these guys, and really excited about our group and what lies ahead in the future.
That was Cam Fowler, who's got one more year left on his deal with the Blues, and it was a deal that was signed by Anaheim. But he'll be here for the 25-26 Blues season, then becomes an unrestricted free agent at age 35 for 26-27. Cam Fowler, I don't know if we could put into words what Cam Fowler meant to this Blues team from a locker room standpoint. On ice, his play speaks for itself, but when they lost Colton Parayko, that could have been devastating. Mm-hmm. And Cam Fowler helped steady the ship when he came to the blue line. when it comes to signing him beyond next season, I don't know if it's a bad thing to go year to year if Cam Fowler's okay with it, because he is. He's 33. He's going to be 34. He's going to have his 34 season next. The final year is going to be his age 34 season. Then the following year is 35. Or maybe if you want to rip up the deal and give him a 2-year contract to extend him through 27, I'm cool with it. Either way, Cam Fowler has been absolutely outstanding for you.
Would you be okay? He's going to be 34 next year. Mm-hmm. You said 2 or 3 year deal, 2 or 3, or just 2?
Maybe you rip up the deal or you add 2 years onto it. Mm-hmm. Either way.
I'd be okay with that as well. I think he did a fantastic job. As you said, when Parayko went out, just kind of being that first pair defenseman and doing a great job. And then we talk about what he provided in the playoffs. Like, he was leading everyone in all of the playoffs in points. Like, he was having a fantastic playoff run there. And it's something to look at. I mean, we talk to Jamie all the time about the importance of a good defenseman and a good defensive pairing. Him and Parayko together did a fantastic job. I was one of the people that thought Broberg should have been moved up and paired with Parayko, but Cam Fowler did an outstanding job and was just solid in what he did. And again, playoff time, he turned into a different player. He turned into somebody that was able to find people and get points and score goals. Marshy picked him, seemed like every other day in the light the lamp game, and he was winning. He was hitting. So, yeah, I think he did a great job this year.
He skates so well. And one of the questions that we've had over the last few years is who can step up and be that defense partner with Colton Parayko. Mm-hmm. It seems like we've been trying to find that perfect match ever since Jay Bouwmeester was here. For a little bit, it was Marco Scandella when they first traded for him, and then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden, like, things weren't the same. Mm-hmm. Then you bring in Nick Leddy, and Nick Leddy had, some good moments with Colton Parayko and that playoff run in 22, and it didn't work out. But it seems like they've found that guy in Cam Fowler, and if you extend him a little bit, then you give yourself time to develop some of these younger defensemen.
Sure.
Maybe Philip Broberg is that guy who will end up taking that spot. But, man, did Doug Armstrong make a move? He made a great move.
There's not many moves that Doug Armstrong has made that has really cost the team. The biggest, of course, is allowing Pietrangelo to walk to Vegas. That's the biggest one.
To Vegas? How long did that take?
No, walking free agency.
Had to have taken a
to Vegas.
Couple of,
okay. Yeah.
I was saying, walking to Vegas doesn't sound.
No.
It sounds like you take, I don't know, a week or 2.
Usually you're walking in Memphis, right?
Yeah. Walking in Memphis.
Yeah, not Vegas.
No, not in Vegas.
Okay, I'm just checking.
All right, sign Cam Fowler to an extension. I'll say aye.
Aye.
Anthony Becht, Battlehawks head coach, next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates, a 2-1 victory last night as they took down Paul Skenes and the Buccos, and a 5-0 victory earlier today. They will head to the nation's capital and take on the Washington Nationals this weekend. Another team that has been picking up wins as of recent are your St. Louis Battlehawks as they defeated the Arlington Renegades 12-6. We're going to talk with Anthony Becht, Battlehawks head coach, next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Battlehawks with the head coach. It's time for Anthony Becht's Call-In.
Presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home of the Battlehawks box.
With Super Bowl champion Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. As Andrew Marsh just said in the Sports Center update, time to head to the Collier and Thompson phone line to talk to the coach of our Battlehawks, Anthony Becht. Coach, congrats on another win.
Yo, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You know, it's good to get back on track. You know, obviously, we don't want to be a team that, you know, wins, loses. You know, you have to start, like I said last week, stacking wins. So it's a good job by our team. Hard fought defensive battle throughout. And I'm just glad we finished the game. Guys did a great job of just showing up at the end of the game in the fourth quarter and getting it done.
Anthony, you talk about that fourth quarter. You all had some, I'm sure, some scary moments there. You gave up the fumble there inside of your own 10, but the defense holds and only allows them to have a field goal inside of your own 10. Just talk to me about what that mindset is for your defense and how Donnie gets those guys prepared for moments like that.
Yeah, you know, it's just.
Ooh.
I think we lost you.
I think, yeah, that cut right out. So
we'll lost the coach.
We'll get the coach back on.
Oh, we lost his signal.
We lost his signal. I'm sure the coach is just fine.
Fine.
Absolutely.
He's locked in.
Yeah. It's funny that you were going to lead defense, and why not? I mean, because
he says the defensive struggle.
Yeah. Because I had a question about basically the secret sauce for the defense this year, and Donnie Abraham is the defense coordinator for the Battlehawks, and boy, he has done a tremendous job. I think last week is when I asked Coach about the havoc and the turnovers that they were creating. His defense has been locked in from week one.
Yep.
So it's been a lot of fun here. All right, I think we've got the coach back on. Coach, you there?
I'm here. Sorry about that,
No,
guys.
that's okay. These things happen. Now, you just started to answer CD's question, so if you don't mind, feel free to reset, and we're all ready to go.
Yeah, you know, we just, you know, trust in our players. You know, we don't put a lot of new stuff in on defense. And quite frankly, you know, when our offense struggles or our defense struggles, the other side, the other phases have to step up. And that's just what it was in that game. 2 weeks ago, you know, we had a nice lead out of the first half. You scored a field goal against Michigan, went up, 2 scores. And, you know, bam, they came right back. They took the lead. And our offense had to answer twice. So, you know, last week, a different deal. You know, defense, I mean, we put up 12 points as an offense, 1 score and a couple field goals. And listen, you have to have our back. Every time there's a turnover or we turn the ball over, which we never want to do, our defense has to make sure they either get off the field on 3 or hold them to a field goal if it's deep in their zone. And that was really deep. So kudos to those guys, man. That's the expectation level, and they came up big.
Coach Anthony Becht to the Battlehawks joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Coach, is there anything that you feel like you need to do as a coach and a motivator? You lose your starting quarterback, so you choose a quarterback. He goes down with injury, and obviously you got a young guy who did not play. Max didn't play last year for you guys, but you have a lot of returning veterans. Is there anything that you have done to help galvanize the team, or is this a moment where you take a step back and just say the leaders on the team can handle it?
Yeah, you know, I don't think there's anything extra, honestly. I mean, this is a day one messaging. This is a day one process where the messaging is consistent and guys know exactly what needs to be done and what we're looking for. And, every morning they get it from me. They get something from me every morning to make sure that we're ready. We don't, have any complacency, because of, 2 wins or whatever that may be, or, some of the accolades that some of these players are getting for their good play. So, for us, it's just about, staying the course, taking care of business and moving on, turning the page and getting to the next game. And the great thing about it, even in 2 straight wins, we have some things to clean up, that we can be better. I don't know if we played a complete game yet, honestly. I mean, that's the great part about it, is because we can continue to push and coach and show things on film on all aspects of what we do, and how we can get better. So that's the exciting part about it. I think guys are really trying to just put one together where it's a 3-phase operation and we all play well.
You talk about the accolades. Rodrigo Blankenship got Special Teams Player of the Week, and Peter, the linebacker, got Defensive Player of the Week. What are you seeing from those guys? And when those guys get those awards, how excited is it for the entire team and for you as a head coach?
I love it, man. Everything we do is for to help these guys, get to where they want to be. And, Rodrigo's been spectacular. He's made every kick. He's been money. And I don't care where we are on the field. I got a lot of trust in him, and he's got a lot of confidence right now. And that's on him, man. He's done a great job of preparing himself and being ready for this moment. And I'm just glad that we're able to find him, and he's done a great job, and he continues to do a great job. And from Peter's standpoint, I told him this right before that last drive, man. These are the moments you got to raise your level for. You got to be a closer. You got to show up in these moments. You want to get to where you want to be. You want to try to get to the next level. Any of those things, you got to find a way to shut a team down in the last drive when they're trying to go all the way down the field to score. And that's what he did. Both of those guys, even Feeney. All those defensive players really stepped up. But it was great to see Pete. I mean, he leads the league in sacks, and he probably should have 5 more. So I think right now, man, he's in a good groove, and I'm just glad he's healthy and he's on our side.
Coach Anthony Becht of the Battlehawks joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Coach, you just talked about Rodrigo Blankenship and how you're confident in him anywhere on the field right now. And, why wouldn't you be? He's been sensational. I'm curious, does it change the way that you as a head coach view certain moments, specifically at the end of a first half or a game, or, from a play calling standpoint for your OC, knowing that you've got the kicker and an excellent kicker in your back pocket? How much does things change from a decision-making standpoint?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's constant conversations between me and Phil about, hey, this is where we're at in the situation. Get to this point. We're good. We know we have this. All right, this is kind of the risk level that we're trying to take, whether it's, hey, let's go try to score, and we're already in that zone, or it's like, listen, this is where we have to get. So, these are constant conversations. I take a lot of pride in the situational side of the game. I don't call plays, so I have to be good on that. I'm never going to try to, I never want to lose a game for our team because of the decisions I make. So, again, it's a lot of trust in players and coaches, but when you have a kicker, of course, yeah, it does change the mentality and understanding where, you can get certain places. You don't have to stress the defense if you're in, second or third and long situations. Like, hey, listen, let's not try to, convert a 3rd and 15. Let's get the 8 yards, get in field goal range, and live to see another day. So, those are conversations we always have, and you're right. It does. It's part of those conversations that, from a strategic standpoint, it is helpful to know you have a guy that can do that.
Last question for me. I know offensively the mindset is always to keep the quarterback clean. You all gave up 5.5 sacks to this past weekend. What do you need to do in order to correct that and make sure that you keep your quarterback clean and that he has time to find those receivers downfield?
Yeah, no, it's a collaborative effort, right? So, protection has to be more firm, without question. Quarterback has to get the ball out a little bit quicker with his internal clock. He's got to step up in the pocket in those deep drop back passes. And, has to be aware of where the dangers are and make sure that we pick up protections and chip and do the things we do from the tight end and running back room. And, our routes, have to be crisper, faster, and at the proper depth so that we can get the ball out on time. So, a lot has to go into exactly how a sack happens. You could probably, there's probably 5 different reasons why, Max took those sacks. So, again, we'll get better from that. We don't want to do that, especially when we have a quarterback that we know can be elusive, can get out of the pocket, can do some things. We just can't have those things happen. So, I just think, we can work a little bit on all those things to get better. And if we do that, we can have some more success.
Coach, I think the last time we had you on, we were talking about the NFL draft, and you thought maybe your former team, the Jets, the team that took you in the first round, might go the Penn State tight end instead. They took a local product, the offensive lineman. Never a bad route, though, I think, for any football team to start with the O-line, right?
No, honestly, they got a really young offensive line that they've drafted some high picks on. They had Olo Fashanu last year in the first round, and now they get the young man from Mizzou, who, again, very talented, very athletic, and, he can play the right side. So, not that that's an easier side in the NFL, but, it's in his natural position. And again, across the board, if you're trying to build something, you want to have an offensive line you can build for years to come. So a guy like Justin Fields, some of those weapons, Breece Hall, those guys will get excited, and you can't go anywhere unless you build the trenches. That's what the Detroit Lions did. And so, Aaron Glenn's obviously continuing that, and they're going to continue to grow there. So yeah, it's exciting to have some pieces, man, that legit guys, protecting and helping the running backs run the football.
All right, Coach, we'll let you go. Go Battlehawks. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Take care. That's Coach Anthony Becht here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Without fail, I went back to his phone had cleared up, and then, of course, I asked one more question. His phone goes back to it. But we appreciate the coach. Good stuff out of him. Boy, I could tell. He's a former teammate of yours, CD, but you could always tell when you'd want to play for somebody.
Yeah.
Like Jim Montgomery, you'd want to play for him.
Yeah.
Craig Berube, you'd want to play for him. I feel like Anthony Becht has excellent leadership ability and somebody that you don't want to disappoint if you're a player.
I think the best coaches are also some of the best communicators.
Yeah.
Like, they're able to say what needs to be said, and everybody is like, yeah, you're right. I can't argue with you. I'm not going to fight back. Like, some of the coaches that I had that weren't great communicators or able to explain things in a way that made it make sense, you tend to have people questioning you at all times. But when you communicate well and you're knowledgeable about your sport, about your position, about the entire sport as a whole, Marshy, it makes it easier for you to fall in line with that coach in that organization.
Wow.
That's something, because we have proved me wrong today, Carey, and I don't know if you're going to get the dings today.
Oh, wow. Didn't see that on the rundown. Missed that.
That's next.
Yep.
Get your prove me wrong statements in to the Air Comfort Service tax line 314-399-9646. These are statements that you want Carey and I to at least attempt to prove wrong. We'll play Prove Me Wrong next.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, time for Prove Me Wrong here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. If you want a Prove Me Wrong statement. All right, Judge. Appreciate you having us back into your courtroom.
Man, I love that black St. Louis ball cap you got on there.
It is pretty cool, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic.
Does look good.
I mean, you shaved the beard, the playoff beard. It was getting a little heavy.
It was
on your face.
Man, I shaved it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I look like a completely different person.
There I am.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah. All right, Judge. What do we got here?
And you're smart, too.
Absolutely smart. Highly intelligent.
Anything else?
Hugely.
Nope, I think that we've covered it.
You have nothing else?
No.
All right, from the 636. Prove me wrong. Paul Skenes should just sign with the Cardinals when he becomes a free agent because we're the only team he can't beat.
Here's the thing, though. When Paul Skenes becomes available, we're not going to want him here in St. Louis because then you're going to get him and you're going to put him in a rotation where clearly the coaching staff's going to ruin him. So it won't be Paul Skenes. It'll basically be Paul Stinks, and then we're not going to want him. Okay? That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that was...
Well, why wouldn't we want Paul Skenes?
That was pretty bad.
That was...
Why wouldn't we want him?
I don't know.
There's no excuse not to.
You could have went the route of paying him.
Paul Stinks.
All right, Judge, you know what?
Paul Skenes, he forgot the K because he can't strike anybody out anymore because he's in that Cardinals rotation. Is that what you were saying?
Nah, that's just, listen, I want Paul Skenes. Look, you handed me a dud. The guy was definitely the murderer, caught on tape, DNA, everything.
Anthony, you could have won that if you would have said, well, that's not true. The Cardinals aren't the only team that he's lost to. He's lost to the Dodgers and the Cubs as of recent. Then I would have given you the ding.
Okay. Well, thanks, Judge.
Do what you can to get the ding, Anthony. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the help.
Yep.
All right. Prove me wrong from the Water Boy. The Vikings are better prepared to compete for the Lombardi Trophy than the Steelers or Falcons.
I mean, the Vikings have a quarterback that's never taken an NFL snap in the regular season. I don't know what the heck he is. I don't know who he is. I mean, last time I saw him in an important game, it was 2024, January, from the 23 season.
And he's turning around and handing the ball off to multiple running backs.
I mean, handoff,
leaning on his defense.
You know, Roman Wilson got it to him. You know, I don't know who J.J. McCarthy is. I hope he's good. I don't know that he is. The Steelers and the Falcons, yeah, they're better prepared. They're better organizations. The Steelers are definitely a better organization. How many championships they got? 6 of them things. How many Vikings got? I don't know. I don't think it's any.
0.
All right, there you go. So, being prepared to win a championship, to win a Lombardi Trophy, probably helps if you got a few you can walk past every day and see. And say, hey, I can get to that. If you don't know, if you've never seen it, it's hard to believe it, Anthony.
Very true. Very true.
Vikings are a good organization, though.
They are, but they consistently come up short. Let's be honest. Consistently come up short.
No,
They're very good.
This didn't say win a Lombardi. It said compete for one. Compete.
Everything I said, just say compete then.
Yep.
Instead of win.
Who is the Vikings quarterback?
J.J. McCarthy.
They got a quarterback?
Yeah.
They have one.
They
Steelers got one as well.
Well, hold on here, Judge. Fairness, Aaron Rodgers is going to sign.
At some point.
And Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl winner, multiple MVP winner.
Future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know?
So
you know him. Hell, he was in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about his game as of recent. You like what you see, Anthony?
Last couple of games, he was outstanding.
I actually like what he did the last
son of a gun.
Last couple of weeks.
Last couple of weeks, he lit some teams up.
He did. He was rebounding from that injury.
What was he, 7th in passing yards? Come on, Judge.
He's doing well.
Guy was doing real well. Now,
what, 1 week?
Is he high as a kite? Probably. But you know what?
It was good.
Even more impressive that he was able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like what we've done here.
Thrill Fan 22, prove me wrong. George Pickens will have a better season in Dallas this year than CeeDee Lamb.
No way possible. CeeDee Lamb is going to get every ball thrown to him, knowing the man. And now it's going to be much easier for CeeDee Lamb to get busy because he got another guy on the opposite side that can actually attract some of the attention away from him. CeeDee Lamb is a number one. George Pickens, as I said earlier, number one-ish, two. More than likely, more than a one. And so CeeDee Lamb is going to be the first target. He's going to probably have 160 targets thrown his way. Going to catch over 110 passes and probably have about 1,400 yards receiving. Going to be easy money.
Tell him.
Yep. George Pickens is going to get whatever's left over.
You had me at the first word.
Nice.
No way that happens unless he gets injured.
There you go.
First ding.
All right, from the 4-2-3, prove me wrong. The Blues run it back to see what they have in-house and save the money to get a 2026 top-notch free agent.
So this year, they're not active in the offseason, but next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're Doug Armstrong. Yesterday, he said the whatever is over. That means, and the other thing he said, too, was they're in need of a 200-foot scorer, a consistent scorer. Doug Armstrong knows that this team is on the cusp of doing something great. They had the best team through 82 games on the bleeping ropes. He knows what he has. Without Dylan Holloway, by the way, he's going to be active and aggressive in free agency. He's going to look to put this team over the top. And if it's not free agency, quite frankly, I think the guy's kind of a maestro when it comes to trades. Ryan O'Reilly, Braden Shen. I guess you got to count the Philip Broberg and Holloway trades. Essentially trades, right?
Yep.
This guy's going to make a move that puts the Blues over the top. He ain't going to rest on his laurels.
He ain't going to sit down.
No, sir. Not Doug Armstrong.
Nope.
Who once said he'd stab somebody.
Shove the knife through the brain.
Yeah, into the eye and the brain and kill him.
I think it was like a metaphor, though.
I don't think so.
No?
No one asked.
Someone in this room said something similar, too. It wasn't a knife, though. It was a beer bottle.
Beer bottle. It was a broken beer bottle.
I don't think it was the eye, either. Somewhere in the face.
Yeah, somewhere in the face. Yeah.
Just saying that person who said that has a lot of the same qualities.
Sure.
As Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
In terms of roster building.
And he would, absolutely. And he would not rest on his laurels.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
This one comes from FedEx Colton. Prove me wrong. April 10th, I texted in saying Libby was going to be a good starter, and Anthony told me he's fast lane fine.
Okay, so what's the prove me wrong?
That he didn't text in? I don't have.
Yeah, what's the statement?
No recollection of
so I found
text
it
from you.
I did find it. It says, hot take or hot garbage, Libby is a perfectly fine number 5 starter thus far.
Oh, well, you said you agreed with him. What's the problem? You said fast lane fine.
At the time he probably was fast lane fine. What was his first start? Look,
April 10th? That was like no.
This year?
Was it?
April 10th? That was probably
that was a month ago.
1 or 2 starts? It couldn't have been more than 2.
Yeah. Probably 2.
Yeah, listen. Coming into the year, Matthew Liberatore was fast lane fine. After 2 starts, I wasn't going to call him a dude, but now he is a dude. See him, he's out dueling Paul Skenes, throwing filthy, nasty 95 up in the zone. Backdoor sliders followed up by the cutter inside.
See about it.
Oh, fast lane yourself. This guy's not fast lane fine anymore. Was I wrong then?
Maybe.
Okay. Am I wrong now? No, sirree.
Not at all.
Who is it? Fastlane Colton? FedEx Colton? Colton? You don't have to fast lane yourself, my friend. You and I are now on the same page, same team, same world.
Yeah. I think you guys end on that one.
All right, good.
Just because, you don't want to end on a bad note.
No.
And Carey did call me a Diamondback earlier.
Did you?
No. I said as a whole.
When Jamie's not here, it always goes to Jamie for that.
I panicked. I was talking. I looked up Marshy, and then I got back to talking.
That could happen. I see how that happened. Yeah. Either way, On behalf of Carey, we apologize.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Are the Cardinals a restructured bullpen away from being a playoff contender? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
If you're thinking about selling your home anytime soon, I know you are because it's springtime. Everybody sells their homes when it comes time to get ready for the summertime and relocate. But not everybody has the best realtor out there. That is Gloria Liu. With your home sold guaranteed realty, she's been in the business for over 20 years, and she's going to be able to help you from start to finish. And you may think you know what you're doing until there's a problem or until there's a question. That's when you want the best, and that, again, is Gloria Liu. Give her a call. She's been in the business for so long. She's got thousands of buyers in her database. And what that does, that pushes traffic to your listing. That's what you want. More eyeballs on your property, hopefully the quicker it sells, and for the most money while you're at it. So please call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. She loves hearing that. She loves selling homes. And again, she's going to walk you through the process all the way to the closing table, and you're going to get as much money as you possibly can for your listing. So again, that's Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
5:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We had Brad Thompson on earlier today following the Cardinals' 5-0 victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates, a game in which the Cardinals swept the series against Pittsburgh. And one of the questions that I had asked BT was, let's just say the Cardinals had a more productive bullpen throughout the month of April. And there were some good individual performances throughout April out of the pen, but overall, as a whole, Jamie, the bullpen won great. So I asked BT, with a more productive bullpen, where would this Cardinals team be? Here's his answer.
They're 4 or 5 games above 500, probably. I mean, they've got, I think, the third most blown lead losses in baseball. I'm pretty sure that number's right. Maybe it's shifted in the last couple of days. So there are some games that certainly crept away from them, and oftentimes it's that middle innings, right? It's that little bit of a gap. And here's the thing with that gap of innings right there. I bet they knew that was going to happen by moving Matthew Liberatore into the rotation. But that was a risk they were willing to take because you better find out what you have for the future. I think that some of those games, if you have Libby out there, they maybe look a little bit different, and then you can slate it in. Leahy, like you mentioned, has jumped in and done a really good job. Phil Maton, the veteran, has done a good job. Ryan Helsley, he's going to lock it down. But there was a risk involved of moving that guy and moving Libby. But they did it to find out what they had, and what they have is a very productive starter. But you're right, like that ends up being the key now is who can step into some of these roles.
That's a great point that he made about Matthew Liberatore stepping into the starting rotation, because he was somebody that the Cardinals relied upon for multiple innings last year out of the pen. So now there is a reshuffling, and the Cardinals made the right move in moving Liberatore to the starting rotation. We've talked about it throughout the course of the day today. Clearly the right move. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be a domino effect or the butterfly effect. And now the Cardinals have at least one spot in the bullpen that needed to be addressed. But when you factor in the impact, the way that Liberatore can last year step into high leverage situations, it's almost like you're trying to replace 2 spots then. Yeah. Somebody that can eat some multiple innings, but also somebody that can step in those high leverage situations, the 7th, 8th, or 9th, and perform.
Yeah, I think BT hit the nail on the head, though. You needed to know for sure. I was in the mindset, I thought they had saw enough of Liberatore and were, convinced that he would be in the Andrew Miller role. Like, he's kind of same lefty, same size, same very similar in how I think that they approach the game and what they could be from that middle to late reliever type of role. But giving him an opportunity, giving him another opportunity to start, you got something out of it. So it kind of just starts to set up what the future looks like. And again, I don't know what the Cardinals' expectation is for the 2025 season. But I know what their expectations are for 26, 27, 28, is to have these young guys, no longer younger guys. They're now veteran guys, and they have all of the opportunities. They have had all of the opportunities. They have all the experience that they could gain during these rougher years. And now you have a starting pitcher in Matthew Liberatore. So when Steven Matz, when his contract is up, when Miles Michaelis's contract is up, you got Matthew Liberatore right there. And I think it also gives you a space for what Michael McGreevy will be. I don't know if Gordon Graceffo, maybe he's a closer. I don't know. Maybe he's a closer or a starter. What do you want? What do you prefer with Gordon Graceffo?
I mean,
you're going to need a closer more than likely at the end of this year.
Yeah, for now, and maybe he's being groomed for that. For now, closer.
Yeah. So, but you're giving these guys, and this is one of the complaints we had earlier.
Sorry, CD, with the assumption that eventually Ryan Helsley's traded.
Correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's a foregone.
Well, I
understand. I get it.
But people get upset.
That's because they don't listen all the time.
Why not have both?
Yeah, no.
Helsley and Graceffo?
The hell you need 2 closers for?
You make one a starter. That would be Gordon Graceffo.
All right, so is that what you do?
And then you pay for the closer.
Okay.
And you have a bunch of young starters. Okay. And by the time Helsley's deal is over, you would then be giving that money.
Year, isn't it?
Well, the next one, if you pay him.
Yeah.
Then you're paying your starters.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It's not my money. I don't care.
You don't like paying closers.
It's not that I don't like it. It just usually never works out.
Oh,
sorry. Usually never. It usually doesn't work out.
What's wrong with usually never?
Because usually never, it's either, but it's usually and then never. You know what I mean?
It usually works out. Well, it usually never works out. I think it could be both.
Well,
I need an English teacher to text in and tell us if we're.
No, I don't think it's. I just usually never does. I don't know. Never say never.
One is saying
usually doesn't work out.
Usually means that it happens frequently.
Yeah.
Never means never
happens. So I was right to say, listen, I need to omit one of those words, and I omitted never.
But I think both work.
All right.
Okay, I don't know. But yeah.
It often does not work out.
There you go. Now we're all on the same page. Yeah. Sure. So I think that, the Cardinals are doing what we wanted them to do in the first place. We wanted to see some of the younger pitchers. We were already on board with the younger hitters getting the opportunities, no matter what it looked like. Mm-hmm. Jordan Walker, play every day. You batting 189, 194, whatever. Nolan Gorman, you're batting 187. Cool. Not cool, but we're gonna figure out if you can hit or not, man.
Right.
You're going to get enough opportunities to fail, and there's not a pressure to win games. There's not a pressure to say, oh, this is a championship team, because it's probably not. Mm-hmm. If you won a championship or made it to the World Series, people would be in awe. Because I don't want to speak in definitive terms, because I got a text earlier. You didn't think so. I thought so. Okay, you're the one person in the entire city of St. Louis that thought the Cardinals were going to win a World Series.
Can I address that person?
Yeah, sure.
You're the best of all time.
The best ever. I mean, whoever, when you were created, there was none other like you, and you should know that.
Yeah.
Yep. The positive mindset, I hope you carry that with you in every facet of your life.
Yes.
In every contact you have with people, interaction, hope it is a positive one. And when they leave from being around you, sir or ma'am, they feel better.
No doubt.
That's what you bring to us.
Well said, CD.
Thank you.
And if I can add to that,
sure.
You were right and we were wrong.
Yeah. That's what people really want to hear.
There it is.
Exactly. Like, if when it boils down to it, people just want to hear that they were right.
Correct.
That's all they want. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you're right. I was wrong.
You were right.
You're right.
And we all know that you needed that.
Yeah. You were right. So. You knew. I didn't. Mm-hmm. I don't watch the games.
Samesies.
Yeah.
By the way, I got a text from Rachel who's listening on her way home. She said rarely would have worked for that as well. That rarely works out.
Ah, there
That's
you go.
True. Yeah.
Usually never?
I just knew that usually never would not work out. It didn't sound right. I don't think it was factually correct. I was wrong.
Thank you, Anthony. Accountability is what we provide here.
Yeah.
We take accountability. We hope that our listeners take accountability as well. You know?
There was a listener too. While we're making amends, there was a listener earlier that when we had Coach Anthony Becht on, texted in, very passionately said, "You guys are messing around again with minor league football. I've asked you guys, or asked or told?
I've
asked you guys to have a city player on.
Or coach.
Yeah. And you continue to mess around with the minor league football. And you're right.
Yeah.
You're right on many accounts."
Says, you want me to read the entire text?
Absolutely.
All right. You guys would rather talk to a minor league team every week than talk to a professional football player or coach. Here we go with Battlehawks coach on every week. But I've asked you in the past to interview city players or coaches. You do know that St. Louis, I don't know if it's supposed to be Louis, but he put St. Louis. St. Louis was the football king of the USA to the late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
When it moved to Southern California. Football has helped define this city and state. Thanks for being an all-around sports show.
That part must have been sarcastic.
There are colleges and universities in the St. Louis area, St. Louis again, that play D1 sports. Columbia is one of the many schools in the state as well. Please pass this on to the scheduling department. They need to know the info provided in this text.
You got it.
We'll send it to them.
Yeah. You can email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have people email all the time.
Yeah, I got one. Remember, I got one a couple of weeks ago. I saved it.
What about the other one?
Is it still with you?
My favorite one was Anthony is a fat, cocky.
Oh, no, I got it right here.
That's it.
I'm sorry, cocky, fat A.
I got it. I can.
You haven't still.
Yeah, it's been in my folder. It's been in my folder.
Some people put like pictures of their kids and
Well,
I
got my kids in the office.
Yeah.
This is just in my folder here.
He keeps it with him as a reminder.
Yeah.
He opens that up.
I need to be better.
When he feels like life is going, when it's going too well.
When I need humbling,
Okay.
I've got this. But
Got you.
we will pass it along. And to the texture, you're right.
It reminds me of Vince Papali, who kept his note from his ex in his locker.
You ready? This is from Patrick. This was on March 1st. Subject was fast lane. One word. I have switched to the other radio station. This may be the worst show I have ever heard. They don't back any of their thoughts. They're THERE. Thoughts up with stats or facts. You haven't, and I'm going to read this verbatim.
Okay.
You haven't a 10-year listener. Just horrendous. Especially cocky, fat A Stalter.
That's my favorite part.
Get it better. Get it together, Anthony.
I responded to Patrick.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, hey, it's cocky, fat A Stalter. I put that in the text, a subject line. And I said, Patrick, I appreciate the feedback. Let me know how I in the fast lane can get better. Because we're all about getting better. No response. So
seems to be a trend.
Yeah, people don't respond. It's okay.
Took the time to write the station. I took the time to write him. And nothing back from
We
old
appreciate
Patrick.
you all listening.
But I'm just going to get better.
You have.
I'd like to think so since March 1st. But Patrick's, he's gone.
It's about being better, 5% better.
Yep.
Every day.
month.
You haven't?
Every month? Or every day?
Every day. Yeah,
Every day.
Every day.
We're on here every day.
All right, let's go to our sports six-pack. 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service tax line. If you got a question for us, send it on in. We'll do the part one of the Sixer next on 101 ESPN.
If you love sports gambling the way I do, then please check out Circus Sports Illinois, the app. Super easy to find. Just check out their website. They'll tell you how to get to it from there. Or any app store's got you covered as well. And right now is exciting times. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, so many different games to play, player props, parlays, lots of fun for everyone who wants to get involved. And let's not forget they've got great lines on all their futures bets, great money line splits, and the best odds of any app that are out there right now. Check out all the other apps. I'm telling you right now that you'll see that Circus Sports has the best odds, which means you get the best payouts available. So check it out, download, and you're going to love it. It's user-friendly, super fun to enjoy with all your friends. And that's Circus Sports Illinois, the app. Check it out. If you or someone you know has a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. So if you've got a question for us for the Sports Six-Pack, fantastic. Send it there. Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. Here is Andrew Marsh.
Question number 1.
All right, we get a question from the 314. You know, Randy Johnson hitting that bird came up earlier, and this sparked an idea or a question from the 314. When Johnson hit that bird, did it count as a ball or a do-over pitch?
Oh, wow. I don't know.
I would have to say it was probably a do-over.
I would think so, too.
It didn't get to home plate.
Yeah, that
took some time to,
right,
get everything taken care of and cleaned up. But
oh man,
it was bad.
This is from an ESPN article. Bird explodes after flying in path of fastball.
Yeah.
The first line, and this is from ESPN. Randy Johnson does have a killer fastball.
Oh my.
Boy, times have changed.
Yeah.
During the 7th inning of the Diamondbacks split squad 10-6 victory against the Giants on Saturday, the NL Cy Young winner hit and killed the dove flying in front of home plate. Johnson's pitch to the Giants' Calvin Murray was about 3/4 of the way to home plate when it struck the bird. The bird flew over catcher Rod Barajas' head and landed a few feet from the plate amid a sea of feathers.
Oh, my.
Whew. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I would assume you would. It's a no pitch.
I would think so too.
Yeah. Like, just clean everything up and count. We're back to
I would think
2-1 count, whatever the count was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Waterboy says dead ball, literally.
Come on.
It's a good call.
Good question. I just don't know the answer. which will not shock many of you, especially Patrick.
Question number 2.
From the 314, if the Cardinals make the playoffs as a wild card but get eliminated in round 1, would you consider it a good year with the organization headed in the right direction? Or would it be viewed as the old do enough to get in but not win?
Oh, no.
Great year.
Yeah, I would view it as a good year because they really didn't do anything. So it would have, well, let me take that back. They didn't do anything in terms of like being active in the offseason. But it would mean that their young players that they have drafted and developed, they would have had to have good seasons. So Victor Scott, Mason Wynn, hopefully Jordan Walker, some of these young pitchers like Matthew Liberatore, these guys would have had to have good seasons if the Cardinals are going to get into the playoffs. So I would consider it a good year. Yeah. I would not go back to like, oh, they didn't do enough. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
I think it'd be awesome.
Wow.
You okay?
No, I'm not.
We got through.
You still fired up about Patrick's email? Is that why you keep that in there?
No, not at all.
Anthony is a man of the people.
I am.
He doesn't worry about stuff like that.
No. This guy's challenging me to get better. Not only from a host standpoint, but also a physical standpoint.
That's true. You have your 5K coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, please take pictures. Videos would be better.
Why do you want to see me fail?
Here's the thing. I honestly don't think you're going to fail. I think you're going to complete it. I just want to see what you look like when you're done. I know you're going to finish. I just want to see the look when you're done. I want to see a video of you walking to the car. That's it.
Two strangers are like helping me.
This
I'll take like at least a selfie.
There you go.
Start and finish.
Reminds me of that like, hey, this is me, Anthony Stalter. You're probably wondering how I got to like to look like this or like got in this situation.
You're probably asking yourself how I got here.
Yeah.
And then it does the rewind.
Right.
Daddy.
Yeah, like a
you run the 5K with me.
You're right. It's the movie. Like the movie that starts with the ending first.
Yeah.
Like Memento, right?
Yes.
Rewind.
Yes.
Hopefully I didn't spoil that for people.
Nah, I don't think it said the ending. So that's literally the premise of the movie. You start from the ending. So, all right. What are we on? Question 3?
Yes.
Question number 3.
Thank you, G-Dog. By the way, G-Dog, very nice and snake bit.
Speaking of getting better, from the 314, as far as getting better, don't y'all think you have run the lineup game into the dirt?
Oh.
That crap is old and boring.
Oh, man. You know what? Why don't we do this? Since we are men of the people. Marsh?
You want to get his poll out there?
Yes.
Wow.
Tomorrow. At 2 o'clock, because the Cardinals don't play tomorrow. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Marshy's going to put his poll out there. You need to jump on his poll. If even 51% says get rid of the lineup game, we will honor those wishes.
How do we do the
this guy just
beat the streak or
well, we'd still be
or
we do beat the
home
streak.
run derby.
We could do the home run derby, but we just don't do the lineup game.
I mean, him just
Murray's poll coming out.
Waterboy Murray's poll is coming out.
Him just saying that makes me not want to show up tomorrow.
Oh, he's not here tomorrow.
Oh man. Well, you got to put your poll out there.
I'll put it out there. I'll put a reminder on my phone.
Somebody in the snake pit said I do agree. So
wow.
Well, maybe the lineup game is run its course.
Is that our fault though, or is that the fault of the people down at Busch Stadium?
No, it ain't our fault.
I think it's listen. We started.
You know why it's boring now? If people think it's boring now, this is gonna sound crazy. I know. It's the same damn lineup every damn day.
That's
How about
good.
that? Right. That's what you want.
Right.
If you think it's boring, it's because it's the same lineup every day. It was exciting when you didn't know who was playing.
Right.
But you were getting your ass kicked.
Very true.
Got a text from 314. Keep the lineup game. It's the only segment you guys take serious about the Cardinals.
Oh, man.
That's harsh.
What the hell?
You know when I think the lineup game maybe took a dip?
When's that?
When Yadier Molina retired.
He had something?
Yada, 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 yada.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. He did have the best, whatchamacallit?
Sounder.
Thank you. All right, well, anyways, Marsh, even if he's not going to be here tomorrow, he is going to put out his poll. And again, you jump on that poll and you make your feelings known. All right? And if the majority of the people don't want the lineup game anymore, then dang it, we'll get rid of it. Wow. Now, I will warn you, we could replace it with something dumber.
It's possible.
Knowing us, it's in play. So just something to think about. More dumb or dumber. The Air Comfort Service stocks line is 314-399-9646. So if you got any more questions, we'll do part 2 of our Sports Six-Pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates. They defeat Paul Skenes and the Buccos last night, 2-1, the final score in that one. And then earlier today, a 5-0 victory. The Cardinals will take on the Washington Nationals this weekend. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interviews with Brad Thompson and Anthony Becht, Battlehawks head coach, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our shows and interviews there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have part 2 of our Sports Six Pack coming up next. So get your questions in to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six Pack is next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646 with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Part 2 of the Sports Six Pack is right now. Marsh, what do we got?
Question number 4.
All right. We get a question from the 314. Why did the Steelers trade Pickens, and what did you think of the return for a really good wide receiver?
I thought they got what they would get in return. I didn't think you get a second-round pick, definitely not a first-round pick. With that being said, I would assume that there had to be something inside of that locker room and in the facility that they felt like, they wanted to move on from George Pickens. Maybe it was too much. I don't know. I'm not there. I haven't talked to anyone. I don't know what the reason would be. But trading him and moving on from him and getting a third-round pick in return, you would have to assume that it's not play-related because he's a really good football player. And maybe they just, the relationship just ran its course.
Yeah, I mean, they both, DK Metcalf and Pickens both kind of win in similar ways. DK Metcalf is just a much better player, but they both win with big air yards.
Yeah.
George Pickens is the guy like, hey, throw it up deep.
He'll catch it.
And he'll catch it. That's what Russell Wilson was doing when the Steelers were rolling a little bit when he took over for Justin Fields. That's what DK Metcalf is. DK Metcalf's going to win in the air. So I agree with CD. They got appropriate value for a young receiver who has the ability to be a number one receiver, but hasn't necessarily put it all together. I don't blame him for that entirely, because he's been in really kind of run first offenses or with offensive coordinators that are shaky at best. I mean, Matt Canada, woof. I mean, he used to run. I feel like he used to run the same routes damn near every game.
It felt like it. It was
rough.
Routes. Mesh under. Yeah, it was pretty simple.
But to CD's point,
I love Arthur though,
and he's a run first guy too.
Yeah,
he likes Arthur Blank, not Arthur Smith.
He doesn't like Arthur Blank either.
Me?
You don't like Arthur Blank?
I do.
He doesn't like anybody in the Falcons organization.
That's not true.
Past or present.
Stop it.
It stopped after 1993.
Oh, wow.
93.
You know why.
He loves.
No,
after 93, you stopped liking him.
That's not true.
You know why?
Because of Dion. He left. Yeah,
Yep.
but I stayed with the Falcons, which is
Should have followed Dion.
Dumb decision.
You should have followed Dion.
I should have followed Dion.
You'd be a Colorado fan right now.
I'd be a Colorado Buffalo fan.
would.
Yeah. No, I stay with the Falcons. 98 was a good year.
Fire up Buffaloes.
It was until it wasn't.
It was until it wasn't.
Till Eugene.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Eugene.
Yes, I do. I'll never forget. I was in high school. I'd never forget waking up to the news on ESPN that Eugene Robinson was in prison the night before.
The night of the Super Bowl.
The night before the Super Bowl.
What are you doing that is that important? That the biggest game of your day. I mean, we know what you were doing, but why are you doing this?
The worst part was he received the
player that wasn't Walter Payton.
No, it wasn't the Walter, but it was whatever it was at the time.
Yeah,
the Walter Payton Award, the Man of the Year award.
Man of the Year. Yeah,
for all of his stuff off the field.
He was off the field, all right. It was a Raiders offensive lineman that missed the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, was it Barrett Rudd?
No,
not
Barrett
Rudd.
Rudd
Yeah,
was
not
a
Barrett. He was
linebacker.
Yeah, Barrett.
What is his name?
Barrett. I want to say Barrett Robinson, but I don't think that's right either. I gotta look it up. Raiders guard.
I don't remember his name.
For those like myself that might not remember this, for me, I think I was born
Robbins,
right?
Barrett Robbins.
Yeah.
Who would be the equivalent in today's NFL of doing something similar to that, like night of the Super Bowl, like in terms of importance to their team?
You mean like who we think would do it?
No, just like
what player would have?
I'm not saying this person would do it, but like the importance to that Falcons team.
He wasn't the leading tackler.
He was their free safety. Yeah. So they played your Vikings in the championship game that year, in the NFC championship game.
That's the Vikings' best chance, I think, ever to make it to the Super Bowl.
That Vikings team was explosive. It was Randy Moss's first year. Chris Carter, Robert Smith, Randall Cunningham.
They were amazing.
Defense was excellent with John Randall. Like, that team was legit. I think they were like a 14-point favorite to beat the Falcons, who had a really good year, but they kind of came out of nowhere with Jamal Anderson.
And then the broadcasters jinx before the game.
Yes, Denny Green was being. Pam Oliver talked to Denny Green before the game.
What did he say?
And Pam Oliver asked Denny Green when would they leave to go to Miami, and Miami was the location of the Super Bowl. This was before the game. Pam Oliver said, "So when do you guys leave for Miami?" Because it was such a foregone conclusion that the Vikings were going to steamroll the Falcons. Denny Green, to his credit, said, he goes, if we win, we'll leave on Tuesday or whatever. So, but Eugene Robinson in that game, there was a pass in overtime to Randy Moss, and Randy Moss torched the corner for the Falcons, and Eugene Robinson went like 15 yards. He was playing center field, ran 15 yards and wound up breaking up the pass, which would have won the game for the Vikings. And then the Falcons got the ball back and went down the field, and Morton Anderson kicked the field goal. Like, Eugene Robinson was big-time leader, starting free safety for the Falcons, and then decided to solicit an undercover cop the night before the Super Bowl and wound up in jail.
Not great.
And you wonder why I hate my team.
Not great. I mean,
same team that blew a 28-3 lead this week.
He's just trying to get, knock the edge off.
Same team that had a legendary quarterback who had an off-field activity that wound up in federal prison. Same team, CD. You played for him?
I did. We were good.
You guys were good.
We got smoked in the NFC Championship game, though.
It's too cold.
It's way too
cold.
cold.
Is there any other thing that has happened?
Let's see here.
Signing Kirk Cousins? And then drafting a quarterback?
That was a brilliant move, thankfully.
It worked out. I told you when they did it.
I liked it, too.
Yeah. I said it wasn't bad.
I didn't like the signing of Kirk Cousins.
You didn't think that Michael Penix would fall to you.
No, right. I loved Penix.
Yeah. To me, that's like pooping your pants and then taking off your underwear and throwing it away. And then being like, I don't have poopy pants anymore. It's like, no, you still pooped your pants,
but you don't have them. So who knows?
Yeah.
You're good. You're covering up.
Clean.
But aren't you, hold on here. Let me ask you this. So you pooped your drawers. You're right. You did. You pooped your drawers. But you had a clean pair of underwear on you. So while you still pooped your drawers, you now have a clean pair of drawers.
And you can go about your day.
And you can go about your day. So, yes, you did, but at least you had... Imagine where the Falcons would be right now without Penix.
To me, though...
If they didn't have a clean pair of drawers.
Thank you.
To me, it's more like I intentionally pooped my drawers, and then I found a pair of underwear at work.
But they were clean, and they were
someone
in a
else
package.
brought them
They
in.
were brand new.
But
Someone
they're
else
brand
walked.
new.
Someone
They were
else
brand new in a package.
walked in. They're like, "Hey, here's a pair of Depends
that I don't have, or that I don't need." Right? Like, and it fell to you. They're just a clean pair of drawers fell to you.
Yeah.
So it all
Good thing you
worked
had
out in
it.
the end.
But you still pooped your pants.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about that anymore.
Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this another way. Okay, since we're in the weeds. All right. Let's say they don't draft Penix last year. Right. And Kirk Cousins falls apart.
And you're absolutely miserable.
I'm miserable.
You are.
Not you didn't get to throw. You didn't throw them away. You just sat in them.
You just sat in them.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, "Oh, this isn't
It's
too
not that
bad.
bad.
It's not that bad. I can deal with this."
Then you're like,
and then it
"Ooh.
starts to really stink.
Yeah.
And your eyes are watering.
Yeah.
And you hate it.
And nobody
you're
wants to come
miserable.
around you.
And nobody wants to come around you. Right?
Yep.
Fast forward to this year's draft. Who are you getting in this year's draft? Because he was just good enough to not give you a top 10 pick. He played most of the year. You had the 15th overall pick.
Shador.
Who fell to the fifth round.
They ended up getting 2 picks in that first round. So they pooped their pants and they said, "You know what? Let's pee this year. Let's pee our pants this year."
At least they got something of need. Had they gone up for like a receiver, then I would have been pissy. All right, moving on.
Question number 5.
Oh, we're still doing this.
What is, from the 314, what is the best sports stadium you have ever been to?
Let's see. Big House, probably.
Michigan is nice. We got smoked there. I got thrown a ball in the flat and told Kurt Kidner, "You trying to kill me, just tell me."
Yeah.
If you don't...
I don't think he was trying to kill you. I think that was him.
I think he was trying to kill me. I got smoked.
Former Falcon Kurt Kidner.
I got smoked. Larry Foote.
Oh,
Jr.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Man, they had some linebackers.
I said, "What are we doing, brother? This is the same read that I cussed Ben out about. It's 1-2. If I ain't open, don't throw it."
By the way, Splashback Dew says, "Now I understand football. You're talking my language."
Yeah.
That's appropriate. Cato June. He was a good linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
What was the question?
Best sports stadium you've ever been to.
Boy, the Giants Stadium in San Fran.
It is nice.
Really
I
cool.
haven't been there. That's a nice one.
I really like, if I'm going, I really like Busch Stadium.
It is a really good stadium.
I think Busch Stadium is clean. I love the view of the arch. If you're sitting, obviously, if you're not sitting in the bleachers or, under Big Mac land, I think Busch Stadium's a beautiful stadium. I really do. I enjoy going down to games.
I've been to Madison Square Garden. I like it's nice-ish.
Yeah. I've been to Notre Dame Stadium.
Notre Dame.
I have too,
did like
actually.
Notre
Cool.
Dame. That was cool.
I didn't go there for a football game, though. I went there for a hockey game.
Did you? Mm-hmm. I do like that, but not better than the Big House. Like the Big House, when you're sitting there and you look around and you see the sea of people, it's wild.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're
like, how big is this stadium?
Yeah.
And it's just a bowl.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's not like Ohio State where, it goes up and you've got like different levels. It just jets out and it's just a sea of people.
We were playing there one year. And sometimes before the game, it's little kids and we're the opposing team. The kid was like, hey guys, good luck, guys, good luck.
That's
like,
nice.
Oh, thank you. You're gonna need it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And you did, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, we definitely did.
DLW 1904 Wrigley is a toilet. Couldn't agree more.
Isn't that where they got the
troughs?
Trough.
Yeah, you're peeing in a trough.
Yeah,
that's rough. Anyways, all right, I'll go with the Big House. Carey, final answer?
Final answer. Meh.
Big House for you?
Yeah, man. PNC Park is nice.
Okay. Marsh, final answer?
Sit anywhere.
If it's
Very
a
true.
non-Busch, I've been to the Shoe in Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. Also, where the Blue Jays play.
Rogers Center.
Very cool stadium.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never been to Canada.
It's pretty cool.
Happy Valley is a great place to play.
That's where
That's
nowhere.
probably more intimidating than the Big House.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because the Big
Especially when
House,
they
the
have that
sound
right
goes
out.
up.
Yeah, it's like they're right on top of you. And
Yeah.
again, it's nothing around you. There's no lights. There's no city. You're like staring out into space. It's like they planted this stadium in the middle of nowhere.
Good luck.
And said, we play football.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, oh, okay.
All right, cool.
I got
Sure.
you. I got you, Beaver Stadium. All right. What we learned, 3 stars of the day next. My wife and I are thinking about redoing our master bath, and I'll tell you what, we're going to go with Mosby. Mosby Building Arts, they're fantastic. You don't want to risk hiring the wrong remodeling company. Let's just start from a stylistic standpoint. You hire the wrong company that has the wrong stylist, they can come in and just force feed a couple of different looks just because that's all they really know, and the style doesn't fit what you want. Maybe they take the wrong measurements, they overcharge you. That's what the wrong remodeling company does, not Mosby. Mosby comes in and they make sure the style is what you want. If you want 3 different options, great. If you want 30 different options, they can do that too. The bottom line is they want to make sure at Mosby Building Arts that you love the project. And when they do come in, their construction team, they treat your home like it's their own. They don't cut corners. There's no hidden cost. They don't just say, hey, we know how to do this job. They take the job, they take your money, and then all of a sudden the job doesn't look good. The project doesn't look right. The right remodeler is Mosby Building Arts. So don't risk hiring the wrong team. Call Mosby Building Arts at 314-909-1800 or visit callmosby.com to schedule your free consultation today and see the difference for yourself. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts are brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Time to find out what everybody learned today, starting with CD.
Yeah, I learned that Marshy may rather poop his pants than just put on a brand new, out of the bag, out of the, fresh pair
What about the Falcons?
of draws.
Right, I don't understand
just
it.
sit in it.
Yeah.
Why would you sit in it?
Why would you sit in it when you got a whole new pair?
Right here.
Yeah.
I was talking about the Falcons.
But in that scenario,
and sitting in it,
you were
and not putting on a new pair that was brought in by somebody.
All right.
In a brand new bag.
All right.
Interesting.
It is interesting. All right, Marsh. What did you learn?
Guy.
I learned something that it was not a part of the show, but I found it to be interesting, and I wanted to bring it up. The mother of Billy Haywood in the movie Little Big League, his mom in real life is the mom of Pete Crow Armstrong. I learned that today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs?
I did.
No kidding.
Learned that today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where does Clue Hayward come in?
I don't know who that is.
Clue Hayward. Of the Yankees.
Oh.
Yeah, the biggest, strongest batter that
the Yankees
Cleveland
had.
Indians were facing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I learned today was that CD wants me to fail, especially when it comes to 5Ks.
I want you to succeed.
When I'm running with my daughter.
I just want to see it. I want to see you succeed at the end.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I don't know if I believe you. Marsh, go ahead.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
All right, our third star of the day goes out to emails and texts that we receive.
Yes.
Love those.
No
Second
doubt.
star of the day goes out to the phrase usually never.
Usually never.
Usually never.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, of course, first star of the day goes out to pooping your pants.
Yeah.
Especially when you have
a fresh pair of draws.
That's fair. Absolutely. Nice job, guys.
Don't want to put them on.
Yeah. Hey, Thunder Nuggets game 2 pregame at 8 o'clock tonight. Tip off at 8:30 right here on 101 ESPN. For now, we got an instant replay for Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.